Good morning, good morning, good morning. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Nothing like doing that last minute live. And that's what the cat said too. Oh, I woke up before it was time, so I was like, okay, we'll do the live today. For a little while anyway. Hope everybody is having a good weekend so far. Mine is about the same. Except about 5 minutes ago, I almost fell. That was fun. I hate it when that happens. Morning, Bonnie Boo. I got your card. Thank you so much. Um, my mom was here and she thought it was absolutely beautiful. Okay, Dibble. Well, don't crash. Hi, Jessica. Your cards always make me happy, Bonnie. They're so pretty. And it was the only Valentine card that I got. So it was extra special. Oh, hi, Dibble. Yeah, don't get lost. Use your GPS. Dibble, I'm going to do a sale tomorrow in case you're not back before I end the show. I'm going to do a sale tomorrow afternoon. So now you know. Yeah, I was going to be short on my electric bill anyway. I was going to have to do a sale, but my electric company won't let me do partial payments, and the money that I do have is on two different cards, and it wouldn't let me do a partial. I have to do the whole thing off of one card, so I have to have all that money on PayPal. So I will be probably around 1 or 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We'll be doing a sale. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I got a lot of pendants. I bought a couple of Jabby's lots a few months back, Just Drop It lots with pendants. And I got some stuff from Robin. Things like that. So I have that. I have some crap stuff. Yeah. So down to the wire. Because I only have like $37 on my PayPal, and I need to have 167 on there. So if I don't make it all on the sale tomorrow, then I'll have to do a sale Monday as well, and hopefully get the rest of it because the bill's due on the 27th. Not that they shut it off right away, but hey, Casual. Yep, gonna be selling tomorrow. I'm always short of money, Casual. I'm on disability. They don't give you enough to live. They give you enough to barely survive, and sometimes not even that. So I have stuff, so I have the ability to make the money. I've been kind of looking around. I should have done the sale earlier so that I was guaranteed I knew I had all the money I needed. And of course, Kodi procrastinates. I am the queen of procrastination. Unfortunately, that's not good when you need to keep your power on. So but yeah, so I've kind of mentally been looking around doing mental inventory and trying to figure out where I can put it so that it's handy when I'm doing the sale, because nobody wants me to have to turn the camera off and go crawling across my bed to try and drag something over here. So I don't have a lot of room to work with, which is funny because a lot of people like Ella has a very small apartment. So when she says she doesn't have room for stuff, she means in total. Me, I have enough room in this house to store a lot of stuff. I just don't have a lot of room in my general vicinity to put things. So Whole big difference. Because of course the spaces that are closest to me where I can reach it is all stuff I have stuff there already. So yeah. It's fun, it's like 18 things you have to do before you can actually do what you need to do. Gotta love that. It's like, well, I gotta move this before I can put this here. But before I can move that, I have to move this over here to make space. Yeah, I have a fun life. So yeah, it is what it is. So hopefully there'll be stuff that people want, you know. I have to remember to grab I have some of those hot fix crystals. They're Swarovski. They're nice. The flatbacks. And I have no use for them because I don't use them. I mean, I use Swarovski beads, but I don't use the flatbacks. So I have to remember to grab those out of my studio because I got those in a lot that I had bought a while back. I'm sure somebody could use them. Junk journals or something, Crafty people. I love crafty people. Like Bonnie. Crafty people. So I also have I have a big mailing envelope around here somewhere that's full of plastic beads, like acrylic beads, and I don't use those when I make jewelry. I have to find that because I'm sure somebody could use it. I mean, it'd be good for, well, I mean, there are some people that like to make acrylic jewelry, but it's also good for kids when they're starting out learning how to make jewelry or they just want to make stuff for themselves and their friends. The plastic is good because if they drop it, you don't have to worry about it. They bounce. So I got to find that. There's some really pretty colors in there, and I forget who sent it to me, but they sent it to me. Ow! Thank you, Kat. I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago, and it was out of the blue, and I think it was someone from the jewelry group that I'm in, and I'm not really sure why they sent it. They just said, "Hey, do whatever you want with them." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, so it's been sitting here. This just very large mailing envelope full of little bags of beads. I'm like, okay. So we'll see. Hopefully, there are things that people want. Um, I hope because Mama Bear needs money. Feel bad for me. Buy my shit. It's always weird for me to be in that part of an auction. Morning, Darlene. Um, on the selling part of it instead of on the moderating part of it. Like, mm, but we do what we do, right? Ugh. So that's what I'll be doing today and part of tomorrow is trying to clear space and try and gather up the things that I can sell. What's everybody else doing? Getting car inspected, not sure how long I will be here. Ooh, fun. That's okay. I'm glad that you came in, Darlene. I miss you. I don't see you all that often anymore. Because you're busy, and you have family close to you now too. So spending time with kids and stuff, which is a perfectly acceptable excuse. My latest streaming endeavor on Amazon is Space 1999. You guys remember that show? Moonbase Alpha. Yeah, they only have 2 seasons on though, and there's more than that. So I'm a little upset. There's only 2 seasons, but yeah, that's my latest thing that I'm streaming. I love that show. My favorite character didn't start until season 2 was Maya because she could change into animals and stuff. And when I was, younger, I was like, ooh, I want to be able to do that. Just morph into a tiger when you need to. That would be nice. Morning, Jennifer. So, how's it going, Link Queen? Doing all right? Yeah, I did too, but then I always do. I have another sty in my under the top of my left eyelid, my left eye. Ugh. It's not as bad as the other ones that I had, but when my eyes get real tired, I feel it more. It's actually going down a little bit now, but this time you can actually it's more on the top part of the skin. It's not kind of hard to explain. Um, the one I had before, you couldn't tell it was there by looking at my eye. This one, I'm sitting there and I had something in my eye because my eyes get tired and I get goop in them. So I grabbed the mirror to get the stuff out so I wouldn't stab myself in the eye. Okay, Darlene. And I'm like, why do I have a bump on my eyelid? And yeah, so this one's noticeable. Like, I'm like, damn. At first, I thought I caught myself with my fingernail or something and irritated my eye and like that spot swelled up, but nope, it's a sty. Because I had to get that crap out of my eyes all the time, so you know, probably got dirt in there and irritated it, and poof, voila, sty in the eye. So I did get a little bit of sleep last night though, so my eyes are not as irritated this morning. A little bit irritated, but not too bad. So it's always something. I can't win for losing. I'm telling you, couldn't make this shit up if I tried. Oh, gotta let you guys know because I talked about it last time I was live. The crock pot recipe that I was trying. 3 ingredients: chicken, barbecue sauce, crushed pineapple. Absolutely fucking amazing. It was so good. Oh no, casual. Oh, well, that's not good. Have you contacted them to let them know that they sent you the wrong things? I hate it when that kind of thing happens. Hopefully, it was an accident. Like they stuck the wrong label on the wrong, stuck your label on the wrong package or something. I hope you can work that out. Oh, half the items were correct and half were wrong. Huh. A new seller. Hmm. Were you able to get in touch with them, or did you like just find out and haven't contacted them yet? I hope they work with you on that. She's no longer in YouTube. Well, that sounds like a hit and run, doesn't it? Huh. I am so sorry that happened. Because see, now that makes it seem very suspicious. You know what I mean? It's like, why would someone do that? Hey, Rhonda. I was I was gonna say contact Rhonda. If you can't get in touch with them, contact Rhonda. Because I mean, they don't want people to be wary about buying things and helping support the people that are in the marathons and stuff. So hopefully this is a misunderstanding and everything will get worked out. But that is it's so frustrating when stuff like that happens. I really hope you get that worked out. Everyone in the marathon is still on YouTube. Huh. Maybe they changed their name. Maybe that's why you can't find them casual. Although, I've typed in people's old names before and it comes up with their new channel. So, oh, it was from 2 marathons ago. Oh, well, it's a little late to contact them now then. So that was what, like almost a year ago. Yeah. Yeah. Rhonda's great about running interference if there's a problem for whatever reason between buyers and sellers in those marathons. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, our favorite blue troll. How's Spike? Spoiled still, I hope. You have a feeling you knew who then? Huh. Yeah, you guys have had so many people on marathons. I'm clueless. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Believe the person was from New York area. Huh. Those New Yorkers, huh, Miranda? Doing okay, Jesse. Doing okay. Hanging in there. Hey, Jen. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the recent marathon they just had, and I'm like, row. I don't know. Those New Yorkers, man, they're tricksy. And dogs barking at kids playing video games in the background. All kinds of stuff goes on. Hi, Susie. Good morning. Susie's cold. It's freezing. I don't know what my temperature is today. Let's see. Currently 51. Where I am, we're supposed to have a high of 63 today. And it will be cloudy. Oh, good. I like cloudy. Tomorrow is supposed to be 73. Well, means my room's going to heat up. Yeah, New York City is. I've been through New York City a few times. when I traveled from Massachusetts down here to South Carolina and back and forth the first year or so I was here. Whew, traffic. I mean, I've been to Boston, same thing. But the towns in New York State are really nice. Ooh, 27 degrees, cold. Cat, shut up. No, that doesn't mean come in here meowing at me. No. Do you see what I deal with? Get off me. She back talks. Safe travels, Jen. Yeah, I don't like being in any kind of city. It's just too close. There's too many people. I don't people well. I'm like, ugh, get away from me. Oh yeah, so the crock pot food. Chicken breasts, I made it with chicken breasts because that's what my mom grabbed for me. Chicken breasts, a cup of barbecue sauce of your choice, and 20-ounce can, hey Anvil, of crushed pineapple that you drain first. And you cook it in the crock pot, low and slow, on low for 6 hours. And then you're supposed to shred it and you eat it with whatever. You can make sandwiches or have it with vegetables or whatever. So I cooked it. It was an experiment. I'm like, barbecue sauce and pineapple. Well, I like sweet and savory together, so I'll give it a shot. So I shredded it, and this is how I found out I cannot eat shredded chicken because I almost choked to death on my food. Um, when you shred chicken, it shreds with fiber, with the grain, and it makes the chicken fibrous, which is fine if your teeth are healthy. It is not fine when they are not, and you can't chew well. Now, if I had just cut it up, like taking the chicken breast, just cut it into pieces, I would have been fine. However, I was trying to do the recipe. I always do a recipe the way they call for it the first time, and then I adjust it and experiment with them afterwards. But so I got to taste it, and it was absolutely delicious, but I couldn't eat it. You know how torturous that is for someone who eats once a day? I'm like sitting here staring at this bowl of food, like, oh my God, I want to eat this. But I did almost choke to death. It was kind of scary. And I'm here by myself. So there was nobody to do Heimlich or anything like that. Um, but it was really, really good. And I had a big container of it because I made 3 chicken breasts because I'm thinking, okay, I have meals, 4 or 5 meals out of this. So I had a big container of it. And I'm like, now what do I gotta? So I gave it to my mom and she absolutely loved it. So it makes me happy because my mom never thinks I know how to cook until I give her food that I've made. And she's like, it was really good. And she acts so surprised, but she really liked it. And so that made me happy that she liked the food that I made. And she did find chicken thighs for me because I'm gonna make it again, but I'm gonna use chicken thighs instead of chicken breasts. And that way I know I'll be able to eat it. So I'm all excited. But it's the little things in life that get me excited. So yeah, it was a hit. It was definitely something that, I'll make again, not with the shredding it or anything, but I mean, how simple can you get? 3 ingredients: barbecue sauce, crushed pineapple, and chicken. And you could probably make it with pork too. Like if you did it with a pork tenderloin or something, it would be good. Barbecue pork tenderloin with pineapple. But I can't afford. Well, since my mom currently buys my groceries, I'm not going to have her buy pork tenderloin. That's expensive. Hi, Thomas. Good morning, mate. How are you? How's everything down under? Jesse, Rhonda's schooling you on New York. That's one thing that cities have is a very large variety of different kinds of food. It's one thing it's got going for it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not a city bear. Mm-mm. Nope. I mean, where I live now, each of the houses are probably on, I want to say maybe a little over, maybe about a quarter of an acre, a little over a quarter of an acre, and it's still too close for me. I like 2 or 3 acres between me and other people at least. Well, it depends on your taste. I mean, people in New York think their pizza's the best. People in Chicago think their pizza's the best. You know? Oh yeah, that's true, Thomas. So every place thinks their pizza's the best. I don't know what you're doing over there, Cat, but that sounded like glass. Get out of stuff. Damn zoo. The best pizza I have ever had was Godfather's Pizza, and you had to take out a small bank loan to buy a pizza there. Um, yeah, it's kind of like Mellow Mushroom. Victoria went to Mellow Mushroom, and got a little 6-inch personal pizza, and they're like $16 or something. I mean, that's ridiculous. But yeah, um, but yeah, the best pizza I've ever had to date is was Godfather's, and they left. They were here when we moved here, and John went absolutely ballistic when he saw it because he loves Godfather's pizza. He was like, "Oh my God, we have a Godfather's," and I'm like, "Calm down, it's just pizza." He goes, "No, it's a whole pizza experience," and I'm like, "Okay, um, calm down, Cali boy." You know, I'm like, "Relax." And then we went there, and Debbie is driving. She's going to get her mom. So now, the kids were younger. They were like 7 and 8 or something. So what we used to do is we'd get them a pizza and we'd get John and I pizza. So we'd each, do the half and half thing. And luckily the kids both like pepperoni, so we could just get a pepperoni pizza for them. I do not like pepperoni. I do not want pepperoni contaminating my pizza. Even if the oil gets on it, it burns my mouth. So I was like, mm. But we go in and the half and half pizza. What did I get? John got pepperoni on his half, and I think I got um it was either hamburger or sausage. I didn't want to take any chances with unknown pizza places ingredients, and you can't go too wrong with those with either hamburger or sausage. Cost me $25 for each pizza. I'm like, what? I'm like, I looked at John. I said, "You better pull your wallet out right now." I said, "You think I'm paying $25 for a pizza, and we need two of them? You better pull that wallet out of your pocket because I'm not paying for that." And he did, and it was actually worth it. I have never ever said that about really expensive food, but it was definitely worth it on those pizzas. They were amazing. And then of course Godfather's was in town for like 6 months after we moved here, and then they were gone. I'm like, really? And they had one for a little while longer. They had one in Greenville, but I wasn't driving 45 minutes to get pizza. I don't care how good it is. So yeah, but it was definitely an experience. Now Mellow Mushroom is supposed to have good pizza too, but um, at this point in my financial life, I cannot justify. Yeah, see, I don't like salami either. I can't justify spending that. That's why I get pizza from Domino's. It's not great, but it lasts me a while, and it's cheaper. You know, um, financially, I can't justify paying $20 for a pizza. I just can't. So And I like pan pizzas. For some reason, pan pizzas are easier for me to eat than the regular ones. And I definitely cannot do thin crust because the crust gets too hard and I wouldn't be able to bite into it. And then I'd be one of those people that's eating their pizza with a fork, cutting it up. Yeah. So, of course, I'm here by myself and no one would see me do it. Yeah, Godfather's disappeared. I know. So, I knew somebody that worked at Godfather's, online, back in the AOL days. He worked for Godfather's, um, and he'd be like, "Yep, enjoy the pizza, but don't work for them because they suck." I'm like, "Oh." I feel bad when I get pizza delivered because I can't tip that much. It's just not in my budget. I always try and give them at least a couple of bucks. I mean, they're get the Domino's here. They get paid more than minimum wage. So, bye, Jessica. Have a great day. I know because I asked one of them. I'm like, "You guys get paid minimum wage?" Because we get more than that. I'm like, "Okay." So, but tips are nice. So I try and give them at least $2, which is so cheap for tip. But with my budget, they're lucky they get that. And I have a huge ramp on the front of my house, so I always tell them, I said, "Hey, I put that ramp in just for delivery people." As I'm sitting there in my wheelchair going, "Give me my food. I will run you over." Now I want pizza. This sucks. My air fryer will cook pizza. It's big enough to bake a pizza in, like a 12-inch pizza. I don't really like frozen pizzas though, because the crust is too crunchy. But I can do it if I want to. I have options now. It's nice to have options. So, yeah, I will be doing a sale tomorrow, probably between 1 and 2, and hopefully that will go well. I'll get the I'll get the $130 that I need. Not a high goal for most. Most people are like, "Oh, I need to make $500 tomorrow at my sale," or rubber, and I need $130 in that PayPal so that I can pay my power bill because I already have 37. I hate being poor. I really do. But and next time I'm not waiting until the last minute because, and I say that every time, but seriously, it's like a new goal in my life is to not wait for till the last minute to get things done, especially when it comes to keeping my lights on. But if I don't, the bill is due the 27th, so I probably have until like the first, maybe first or second, before they'll be cutting my power off. So because this is all that's due, there's nothing else. Like there's nothing overdue on my bill, um, which is why I don't understand why they wouldn't let me do payments on it because they give you the option of paying the full amount or paying a partial amount. Oh, for cooking, Jen, because I have a air fryer toaster oven now. So now because I couldn't use my oven before, the angle is awkward from a wheelchair, and I have enough problems without dealing with getting burnt. So I haven't used my oven in 3 years, and my mom got me an air fryer slash toaster oven for my birthday. So now I have cooking options. I can bake things like biscuits. Oh my god, I hadn't had biscuits in years, and my mom got me some of the Pillsbury frozen ones. I was so happy. I was like, "Yay, biscuits!" I'm telling you, I get happy over the stupidest shit. Um, so, so yeah. So my my financial goal for the sale is not really high, but it's really necessary. So hopefully I can sell some crap, and it's not crap. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Um, and get that paid. But I mean, they give you the little box that allows you to put in what amount you're paying, and I put that in because I had like $60 on my other card, and then the 37. Still not enough for the whole bill, but it was, would have been less that I had to make and try to pay it. And they said that you can't pay after the bill is due or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not due until the 27th. So, but the website wouldn't let me do it. So I'm like, great. And I can't put money on the other card because it's my disability card. The government, you can get refunds on it and the government can put money on it, but like someone couldn't put money on that card. I can't put money on that card. So it's sale time to get the money on the PayPal card. Yeah, Jen, we have to find happiness where we can, right? So, but other people, I mean, some people would hear that and be like, really? She got excited over biscuits? Yes, yes, I did. Because I still had some of the Land O'Lakes butter that my mom bought. I buy Walmart butter, um, because I'm poor. So, I tell my mom to get generic butter. But when my mom grabbed butter, she grabbed me one of the little boxes of Land O'Lake butter, and that's like, ooh, holiday butter, yum. So I got to have biscuits with higher quality butter. I wish I could afford Kerrygold. Kerrygold butter is so good, but I can't afford it. So I got to try Kerrygold when I was in Florida because the couple that I stayed with that used to travel a lot and I would dog sit for them, they they had money, so they didn't buy generic ever anything. Um, so yeah, a big old brick of Kerrygold in their fridge, and I was like, huh, oh, so good because the fat content in it is higher than American butter. So they used to put it in their coffee, which to me is really weird, but I guess it was a trending thing to put a chunk of butter, like a high quality butter, in your coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I just watched them do it one morning. I'm like, what are you doing? And they were like, oh yeah, it's really good. You should try it. I'm like, I don't like coffee. And they're like, never mind, then stay away from our coffee. But yeah, I don't like sharp cheese, but the butter is absolutely amazing. I like mild cheeses. I could deal with mild cheddar. Um, you've never heard of Kerrygold, really? It's in a gold foil and green um pack in the supermarket. And they come in bricks, not sticks or anything. They come in these blocks. So Rhonda, extra sharp. Rhonda, I had somebody the other day ask if I was going to write down their sales um, during the auction. I was like, I'm not Rhonda. I'm good. I'm not that good. I'm like, I'll put it in the chat. You're going to have to keep track of your sales yourself. Sorry. You saying extra sharp reminded me of that. Yeah, super mod. I don't know how they do that. Oh, they come in sticks too? I've never seen them in sticks. I suppose if they want people to use them for baking, because I mean, measuring out your butter is a pain in the ass if because when they come in sticks, they have the measurements on the package. When they come in a block, you have to kind of guesstimate or have a measuring thing. Oh, I know it was really good. show. Oh, have you guys seen that commercial for like a fruit squeeze thing? One of those pouches that you squeeze, and it's like 100% fruit, no sugar added. I think it's made by the Go-Gurt people. And the commercial is like, squeeze the most out of your kids. And I'm sitting here yelling at my computer, going, don't squeeze your children. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God. It's the weirdest commercial ever. I'm like, why would you say that you squeeze the most, you squeeze your kid? No, don't squish your children. That's just bad. That's wrong. I mean, because we want to squeeze the most out of our kids makes it sound like they're a tube of toothpaste. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Mm. Oh, and you know that you have watched way too many shark movies when you see a commercial of people and they're kayaking in the ocean and you go, and a big giant mutant shark comes up and eats them. Yeah, I've watched way too many shark horror movies lately. What John called my stupid movies, my stupid animal movies. And yeah, most of them, the acting is really bad, but some of them are interesting, you know. I watched one the other day that had a Steve Urkel in it, Jaleel White, I think his name is, and yeah, he was in it. I was like, wow, he all grown up now. I feel old. It was something like Megasaur versus Dino Croc or some shit like that. Yeah, it was those kind of movies. You know. I've been watching the Riff Tracks. Have you ever watched a movie, one of the Riff Tracks movies, where these two guys just they rank on the movie so bad during the whole thing, it's like commentary through the whole movie. I've been watching some of those too. It's so funny because they sound like John and I when we would watch a movie that we hadn't seen in a while, but we had watched it before. Because you know, the first time you watch a movie, shut the fuck up and don't talk during it. But once you've seen it, then you can do commentary, and they sound like John and I. Was funny. Um, he's always had the problem of talking in a movie that none of us had seen yet. And she's like, well, why are they doing that? And I don't understand that. And how come this is happening? And what's that mean? I'm like, oh, I'll come in the other room. Hey, Mr. Jim. So, yeah. Movie etiquette 101. Don't talk during it if you've never seen it before. Yeah, one of the ones I watched was it's a movie that I actually like, and it's an older movie with William Shatner in it. It's called Kingdom of the Spiders, and it's about tarantulas that like take over a town, and they like web the entire town by the end of it. But they were just ranking on him so bad. They're like, any minute now, spider's gonna jump out. Any minute now, spider's gonna jump out. Are they actually gonna have spiders in the Kingdom of the Spiders movie? You know what I mean? It's just funny. I'm easily amused. What can I say? William Shatner. You've never heard of Kingdom of the Spiders? Yeah, it's an older movie. Um, oh, awesome, Mr. Jim. Thank you. I can't wait. I'm so excited about that ring. Um, let me see when it was made. It was when William Shatner could still ride a horse. 1977 is when it was made. And they show him they show him in the beginning. He's riding his horse across, landscape. And they're like dun 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 dun, dun William Shatner. rides a horse. It's funny. I'm like I said, I'm easily amused. Now, most people wouldn't die if get bit by a tarantula, but of course these are special tarantulas that are extra potent, and they gang up on you. Like they kill a bull, and the bull breaks through a paddock, and he's just covered in spiders. I'm like, I want to know how they got the bull to stand there long enough for them to attach all those fake spiders all over him. Yeah. They also did a riff on what is it? I think it's called Planet of the Dinosaurs, and it's a really dumb movie. Um, there aren't any actors in it that I recognize. I'm sure back in the day they were. Also a 1977 film. Are we seeing a theme here? Um, but there's a lot of walking in it. Like this group of survivors, they walk constantly, and they take a lot of breaks. So the guys doing the riffs on it were like, so the name of this should be Planet of the Let's Take a Break Now. And they're like walking and more walking and more walking. Oh look, they looked at a tree, more walking. Yes. And of course the dinosaur effects were like claymation. They were not well done, so it was just really silly. Definitely what would be considered like a B movie, maybe possibly a C movie. But I'd say it's my guilty pleasure, but I don't feel guilty about it. I enjoy movies that are dumb. Nothing beats the Scorpion movie I picked out back when Blockbuster was still around, though, because we were at Blockbuster and with the kids, and we were each picking out a movie, and so the kids went off to find their movie, and John was with me, and he picked out his movie, and he's like, "All right, go get your stupid animal movie." And I'm like, so I saw one, and it was Scorpions, right? I was like, okay, haven't seen one of those before. And he looked at me. He was like, really? I'm like, yes. Yeah, even I didn't last 5 minutes through that thing. It was like paper mache scorpions. They were so fake. It was so funny. And I was like, he goes, "You're trying to get through this just to prove that you can, aren't you?" I'm like, uh-huh. He goes, "Shut it off." I'm like, okay. So he ribbed me about that movie for years. And every time I picked out an animal movie, he'd be like, "This isn't gonna be like that scorpion one, is it?" And I'm like, "Ugh." But then he picked out a movie a couple of years later that was absolutely horrible. The acting was horrible. The special effects were just ridiculous. And I looked at him. I said, "So this is your scorpion movie, huh?" He goes, "Shit." So yeah. Oh, and speaking of the man himself, if y'all are wondering why I didn't do a show Wednesday, I was having a really hard time Wednesday, mentally. I also wasn't feeling good, but mentally, I was hard for me. It was 3 years. John died 3 years ago Wednesday, so yeah, it was rough. And I know that all of you guys are there for me for support and to distract me and talk to me, and I appreciate that. I really do. But I just could not people. You know what I mean? I was just like, nope. So it's nothing personal. It's just how I had to deal with it that day. And there are days where my depression gets to me. I'm like, no, I need people. I'm going live. Um, but Wednesday was not one of those days. So yeah. So that's why I didn't go live on Wednesday. Um, I've got like a cold going on, congestion and stuff. Been taking my Mucinex. Tuesday I dehydrated while I was moderating. That was embarrassing. To the point where people that were in the chat were asking if I was okay because I had brain fog. I couldn't concentrate and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And Ella was like, "No, you need to go take care of you," and she booted me off the panel. I'm like, "Okay, then." Um, and I was sitting here, I'm like, "Why can't I concentrate?" And then I realized I was sweating, and I'm like, "Why is it so damn hot in my room?" I do not do well with heat anymore at all. I am so super sensitive to heat. Um, it wasn't to the point where my breathing was affected, which does happen, but it was to the point where I was dehydrated. So I drank a couple of bottles of water and I laid down. I slept for like an hour, hour and a half, and I woke up and my thinking was more cognitive. So I was like, yep, I dehydrated. Probably just the initial stages, but um, being able to concentrate when you're moderating is really important. And I just couldn't figure out what was going on at the time. I was trying to power through it, but I didn't want to mess up. And Victoria actually is the one that was like, Kodi, are you okay? Because you don't sound right. I'm like, "Mm." I was like, no, not really. And then Ella booted me, which I love you, Ella. She was like, go take care of you, girl. I got through most of it. Got through most of it. I think I had moderated for about 3 hours at that time. So I did all right. But Thursday when I moderated for Ella, I made sure I had water here. My fan was on. I was like, just in case. We're not gonna take any chances on dehydrating again. But yeah. Dehydrating is scary, especially if you get affected, like your brain gets affected. It's really weird. And that never happened to me until I moved to South Carolina. That's all I'm saying. This state is weird. Morning, Carol. Yeah, if it gets too warm. Hi, Tammy. Good morning. If it gets too warm, it affects my breathing. And that's before I had COVID. So I don't even want to find out what would happen now. Um, so, and by too warm, for me, that means like 80 degrees. You know what I mean? So, which for most people is really nice weather. Not for me. 75, I'm good. But yep, Susie, ride the waves. Yeah. I unpeople. I like that. I unpeople. Yeah. Well, a lot of it too is having to go over again and again. You know what I mean? And there are some days like today I have no problem talking about John whatsoever. None. I am fine. I'm not crying. I'm not triggered. I'm good. There are other days that I can't even say Nikki's husband's name because it will trigger me and I'll just be a big ball of mush, you know? So it just depends on where my emotions are, I guess. But my mom came over Wednesday morning because she comes over every Wednesday morning and she noticed that I was, off, more off than usual. And I was like, well, today is 3 years, Mom. And she goes, oh, that's right. She goes, I knew it was around now. She's like, I didn't know what day. And she goes, yeah, that was really strange how that happened. And of course, that brought up in my head the whole scenario of how things played out that morning. So yeah, I was that, and I got triggered at 4:30 in the morning because I was watching Stephen Colbert. I think yeah, he had Pink on his show, and I like Pink. I like her music, and she has a new album out, and she was gonna sing a song from the album, and I'm like, cool, a new Pink song. Hey, Bobby, and yeah, I should have just gone to bed. Uh, damn, Carol. Because the song she sang was about losing someone and still having questions, and they won't get answered until she gets to heaven too. And I'm like, oh shit. And I mean, I was a mess. My dog was over here giving me kisses and trying to get me to play, trying to distract me. Simi kind of taught herself how to be a therapy animal. She's like an emotional therapy dog. I didn't teach her that. That's just natural on her part. But I was a mess, and she was all over me like, "No, stop crying." Yeah, that song triggered me hard. I was crying so hard I couldn't even shut the video off. So, yeah, Wednesday was not a good day for me. Um, and I'm definitely gonna look up songs from now on what they're about before I just go and listen to them, because it totally took me by surprise. Um, Kind of hit me out of the blue, you know? Because I'm thinking, great, an upbeat song, da 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 da, and nope, definitely not upbeat. I still love Pink, but now I'm mad because she made me cry. Every time I see a picture of her, or the Stephen Colbert thing will come up with shorts and extras and stuff, and Pink and blah blah. I'd be like, no, you made me cry. And she's in a COVID commercial too, um, where they're basically passing around a rubber ball in the shape of a COVID virus, saying, be prepared and make a plan and things like that, because she got a COVID and she has asthma and it hit her hard. So they have this whole COVID commercial. So now every time I see the commercial, I was like, you woman, you made me cry. But but today I'm okay. Today we're good. Now this could change at any point in time, but for right now, we're golden. Boop. Thought of you the other day, Rhonda, on Thursday. Wonder Woman was selling on Ella's, and she had owl salt. She had two different sets of owl salt and pepper shakers. They were cute. Even she said, she's like, see, now Rhonda needs these. Bobby, if you missed anybody, girl, you need to work on your aim. Yeah, Susie, it just 4:30 in the morning is not the time I want to do that, because then you get, your nose gets all clogged up and you got to blow your nose like a million times. And I was already having issues with my eyes, so, tears didn't help. And it upset my dog, I mean, it was crazy. And, yeah. 3 years, it still hurts like hell. He was under strict orders not to die before me. Motherfucker never did listen. Although I will say his cat was more cuddly on Wednesday than she usually is. Um, See, my cat is a cuddler. She starts purring and cuddling on you, and she's like a little Klingon. You cannot get her off. His cat is more snobby. Like, I'll lay next to you and you can touch me, but if you pick me up, I'm going to try and eat your face. I know, because she's tried it, and she was all stepping up on me and rubbing her face on my face and laying next to me and laying on my leg, and yeah, much more. And much more than normal. And she actually behaved herself that day. See, his cat's the troublemaker. She's the bitch. Bowling for hellos. Yeah, let me tell you, Susie, I release my tears all the time. I'm surprised that I don't have to wear floaties sometimes. Where's my water wings? Um, but we muddle through it. I am definitely not one of those people that holds in emotions. In case you couldn't tell, it's a secret though. Shh. You know, people usually know exactly how I'm feeling. Hey, look at that, Bobby. You got a strike. Everybody say hello. So yeah, I'm gonna say it again because I wanna, in case people come in that didn't hear it. Gonna be doing a sale tomorrow between probably start it sometime between 1 and 2. And I'll have jewelry. I'll have some not well, I might have some things that I still have that I made. I don't know what I have left, but I do have a lot of pendants that I've purchased over the past year or so, and I have some craft stuff. And I wish I could get to my craft books, but they're buried, and the box is really heavy and it's upside down. So, and it's at a really awkward angle. Like I'd have to hang half off my bed in order to grab it and flip it over. And yeah, that's awkward. Between 1 and 2 p.m. Eastern, Carol, tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it closer to 1 or 2. So I'm giving myself that little leeway there because I'm definitely going to need a nap before I do it. It wears me out. So my badass. Hi, Amy. Tell Beastman I said good morning. Beastman. In case anybody doesn't know, Beastman is Hot Mess's dad. So yeah, have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I wish I knew if anybody was interested in the D&D books. I got a whole bunch of D&D books. I don't know what generation they are. I got to look at them again. Um, but I know I paid like $35 a piece for them damn things. Hello, Clarice. um, and I'm not going to use them. I got them because John was going to teach me how to play D&D, like tabletop D&D. And we never did get around to playing it. We were going to do it after he got married, but Issa would have wanted to play, and I would have had to kill her with friendly fire. So, like, literally, not the game, but literally, because she would have annoyed the hell out of us. My debit card broke yesterday. Oh, the chip cracked. Oh, damn. Carol, you've been doing some hard shopping. So Carol is an extreme shopper. Like throwing that thing at people or what? I have never heard of that happening. Yeah, I figured I'd do it in the afternoon because that way people that go to church will be out of church. Oh, it's old. I mean, I picture Carol at the store jamming the card into the card reader going, "Give me my stuff." My when I used to have food stamps, my EBT card for some reason in some stores wouldn't work. Usually Walmart. It didn't want to work. And they used to have to put a Walmart bag, like wrap it around the card, like just stick the card in it and run it through the card reader with the plastic on the outside of it. I don't know why that works, but it would work. It was the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, one layer of plastic on the card, and bam, they would read it. I'm like, your card readers are on drugs. I don't know. The look on the woman at a different store though was so funny because the card wouldn't read, and she's like, "Well, I don't know. You're just not going to be able to make a purchase." I'm like, "No, actually, that's not true because you can punch the number in. You have that option, but hold on, let me try something." I grabbed one of the bags and I put it on put the card on it. She goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, it works at Walmart." And I ran the card at it registered, and she was like, "Oh my god, that worked." I'm like, "I know, weird, right?" Yeah. She's like, "I've had so many people that their cards wouldn't read." She goes, "Now I'm gonna try that every time." I'm like, "Yeah, it's definitely worth a shot because typing in that long number, pain in the ass." You remember on the way back in the day when you had to write down credit card numbers on those triplicate forms and then put the card underneath, put the paper on top, and slide it, but you still had to write the number down in case the imprint didn't come through? Yeah, I hated those damn things. Hated them. Almost knocked myself out on one when I worked at the gas station. I know, I have an interesting life. But I dropped something and I went to grab it and I was too close to the counter and I whacked my head on the credit card reader and I'm like, ow, on the credit card slide thing. I'm like, it's 2000. Why do we even have this? Yeah, boss never threw anything away. Yeah, understandable, Jennifer. I had a woman, one of the last times I was at Walmart, um, I was using my it wasn't my food stamp card, it was my debit card. And she was like 2 inches away from me in line. Like she stepped in front of her cart. Debbie is going to get her mom, so she's driving. And because usually, when you're in line at the grocery store and you're at the card reader thing, the person behind you, their shopping cart is between you and them. Well, this woman stepped around her cart and was like right up in my bubble. No, that won't work at an ATM. Oh, Jennifer, that sucks. And I had to put my PIN number in, and I'm like, she's like not even 2 inches away from me, like hovering. And I'm like, I looked at her, I was like, "Could you back up a little bit, please?" And her daughter reached around the cart, grabbed her, and pulled her backwards. She's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "It's okay, but that was kind of creepy." I was like, "No, you're not gonna look over my shoulder while I put my PIN number in. Come on." Yeah. I'm like, personal space, people. And I mean, that was 5 or 6 years ago, but weird. I mean, I always give people a respected space when they're, doing their cards and stuff. Because I mean, there's a reason there's the little things on the sides when you punch in your PIN number so people don't see what numbers you're punching, you know? She was all up in my business. I'm like, "What the hell?" Oh no, Jennifer, that sucks. Might be time to do that new card. I don't think I've ever been to Wawa. You know, I've never been able to get a credit card. Even when I worked for Walmart as loss prevention, I couldn't even get an employee credit card. When I applied for it, the machine started smoking and laughing. I was like, "I'm saving you hundreds and thousands of dollars and shit." And hello, you know what I mean? I'm like, and you won't even give me a credit card. I'm like, damn. It's probably a good thing though, because I would have probably gotten in trouble with it. I'd be like, "I really want that. Ooh, I have a credit card." Yeah, which is what gets my oldest daughter in trouble all the time. Her credit card is constantly maxed out. Morning, Ken. Oh yeah, they do credit checks on me, and yeah, my well, Michael and I ran into a problem with bank, and overdrew a checking account, which he overdrew. Technically, it was my card that overdrew it because we were traveling, and the systems hadn't caught up with systems out of state. So we were using my debit card while we traveled down to Florida and then South Carolina and then back up to Massachusetts. But I didn't know that he had taken a whole bunch of money out of the account so that everything that I was using to put gas in the car and buy food and all that was all overdrawn. We were like $1,500 overdrawn on that checking account. And because I didn't know he had done that. Bad Michael. Um so we had that, and I refused to pay it because I wasn't the one that overdrew I mean, technically it was my card that did it, but I didn't know he had taken the money out. So I thought there was money in it and we would have been fine. I mean, we were preparing for a trip. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? Why would you end up draining the bank account when you're going to be traveling 1,800 miles, well, 2,000 miles to go down to Florida or more, you know what I mean? And so, and of course I was dumb and didn't think, and I will never ever get a joint checking account or joint account with anyone ever again. Um, so yeah, it was bad. And then of course I had the foreclosure on the house here, which crapped out my credit too. So I don't know, whenever they do a credit check, it just, things start smoking and I hear maniacal giggling. So, but like I said, it's probably good because I'd get in trouble with a credit card. I have to live within my means, and that's good guidelines for me, you know. I mean, I won't buy anything unless I've already worked it out. Mr. Jim is real good about that. If there's something that I'm like, ooh, oh my God, I need that. And it's like three or 4 days, maybe a week before I get my money on my account, on my card, he'll let me wait to pay the invoice. And I do very much appreciate that. But normally, um, I don't, I don't buy things with the promise to pay. Um, Normally, my normal mode is, if as soon as I get an invoice, I pay it. Um, but every once in a while, you got that thing that you just got to have. You know what I mean? And it's mandatory. It calls you. So Mr. Jim is awesome. Let me do that, and I do very much appreciate it. And he is most likely doing a sale tonight. I think Saturday night. 15 bucks to feed 3 people instead of 30 it would cost. Yeah. Food prices are going up. You know, my disability, I got a $50 increase. Cost of living increase was 50 bucks a month. Hey, TG. And still not breaking even. You know, I'm still not even close to being able to buy my own groceries even. So I had to be really careful about what I give my mom for a grocery list because she also feeds all the people in her house. My daughter will buy her own snacks, and if she wants something special, she'll buy it. But my mom basically buys all the food there for 4 people. So yeah, the only fast food I've had, um, I don't know if it would be considered fast food, is Domino's. Every once in a while, I'll splurge and get Domino's. But a Domino's pizza will last me 3 or 4 meals now. So yeah, yeah. My son works at Wendy's. At least I think he still works at Wendy's. I don't know. I haven't talked to him since a couple of days after my birthday or so, which he forgot. He sent me a thing. Um, I didn't really find it amusing. On the 17th of this month, um, I don't find it amusing at all. But my son has a very sick sense of humor. Yeah, and he messaged me on the 7th because he was waiting for a new bank card, and he had changed his address, but they were still sending things here, so he didn't know if the card was coming here or what. And his was expiring, but apparently he went in and talked to somebody and got a new card in like 3 minutes. So, hey, Darlene, again. So, because I mean, I could take the same money that I spent for Domino's and do like a delivery thing from McDonald's or Burger King or even Subway. There's a Subway down the street from me too, and I've been craving the chicken teriyaki onion, whatever, sweet onion teriyaki chicken. But I would be spending pretty much the same amount of money for one meal as opposed to spending the money and having four meals, and a snack. So I shop as economically as I can. Get the most for what I'm spending. I've had people ask me, how come you get Domino's all the time when you get food? Don't you want something different? I'm like, I can't afford something different. This lasts me more than one meal. Because, yeah, I'd love every once in a while to have a burger or whatever. But, oh, yeah, Devil Girl is here. Our favorite Welsh brat. I did splurge. See, treated myself, what was it? Say 6 or 7 months ago. I got food from Captain D's because I was craving fish. And I didn't have my my air fryer and toaster oven thing yet. So I was like, you know what? I want fish. I want shrimp. I want food. And so I got Captain D's. Captain D's food is always really salty, but not as bad as Long John Silver's. And the Long John Silver's here in town had worse reviews than Captain D's did. So I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. But again, it was one meal, and I think I ended up paying like $30 for a plate of food between the delivery and all the taxes they charge you and all this crap. And I'm like, what the hell? It came to like $25 and some change. I'm like, Jesus. But it was a treat to myself. Every once in a while, I got to do that. You know. How's everything in Wales, TG? Did you get your roof fixed yet? I'll tell you what I really miss though, and I haven't had it in like 5 years, is Chinese food from my Chinese food place that I like. They're still there, I checked. Because, I don't get out, so I don't know what's closed and what's not, but they're still there. I really want Chinese food. But they don't deliver. I keep checking their website to see if they deliver. But nope. I'm like, God, list yourself on, DoorDash or something. But they're a little tiny hole in the wall Chinese place. They've been there for years. And they're in like a perfect location because they're like right next to a Walmart. And Cato. So and a Dollar Tree. So there's always traffic in the little strip mall there. And they're like 5 minutes from my house. But 5 minutes is like, 3 days to me. They just finished fixing the roof. Well, that's good. At least it's fixed. And my mom always leaves before they open. So, oh, you're getting a new roof in April? Yeah, her roof fell apart, Carol. Like the corner of the roof rotted away and the whole thing just collapsed. Not fun. TG, you live in an apartment, right? Did it happen over your apartment or just the building itself? And why do you have to pay for it if it's an apartment building? It's not, you don't own the building, do you? That seems weird to me. The UK is weird. Top floor. Do you live on the top floor? I mean, was it your apartment? How many floors are there? There's like 2 floors. She lives on the top floor. Makes that all fancy. See here, if you're in an apartment building and something goes wrong with the building itself, like it's not anything you caused in your apartment, then the people that own the building have to pay for it. That makes no see, that wouldn't happen here. Yeah, the UK is weird. See, building maintenance is the owner's responsibility. So whoever owned the building or managed the building would have to pay that bill here. Could you guys imagine if there was damage from like storms and stuff and they tried to make the tenants pay the bill for repairs? Oh my God, there'd be a lot of dead landlords get beat up. Yeah, that would just not happen here. I mean, you're responsible for any damage that you do. Like those toxic twins that lived here. Oh my God, they did so much damage to this house. I'm so pissed off. They had no respect for someone else's property. Um, and I'm going to end up having to foot that bill. Like they broke a window. It's double pane glass, so luckily they only broke the inside pane. But 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, when it happened, and I let the landlord know. Well, I let his dad know. He said that I would have to pay for that. Which personally, my son invited them to stay here, so I think my son should be responsible for that bill because they were his friends. But that's not going to happen. So he said it would be about $50 to replace the glass in it. So I was like, okay, and they still haven't fixed it 3 years later, 2 years later, however long ago it was. Which is fine because it's not causing any. There's still pane of glass there. It's not like the window is wide open. Yeah, we know that's not happening. And it's fine, but they stuck squares of that black industrial carpeting, it's like indoor outdoor carpeting, and it's sticky. They stuck that to my hardwood floor, which is, I mean, the floor itself, it's not real hardwood. It's the little panels that you get to make it look like hardwood, and it's the cheapest stuff you could get because it's all tearing up. But they stuck it to the floor. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? You don't own this house. Don't stick things to the floor. I can't get it up. I can't get it off the floor. So yeah, they instead of putting like picture frame nails in the walls, which my landlord's fine with hanging pictures and things up, they put these huge drywall screws all over the walls to hang things. I mean, it's crazy. They broke the door frame. He broke the door frame, slamming the door to that room. Ooh, Carol, I'm glad nobody was hurt. Yeah. Sucks for those people with the cars, though. So, I mean, these kids had no respect for anything. I mean, I didn't even know my doorknob was missing on my back door until, they all moved out and I managed to be able to get out there. I'm like, why is there no doorknob on this? And I think they took it off on purpose because where the microwave is, when you open the door, the doorknob would hit the microwave. So I think they took the doorknob off on purpose. I have no idea where it is. Huh. Earthquakes in Wales. It's the planet. She's tired of us polluting her and she's trying to shake us off. Oh boy. Yeah, I remember those days with snow and all that crap. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. We have ice storms here sometimes, but it's not too bad. TG, I think that's damaged long ago. Long ago. My soles are in perfect condition. I keep them in a little box in the drawer. Yeah, I remember the blizzard of '78 when I was a kid was the best thing ever because there was no school and my asshole neighbor, my nemesis that lived across the street, I got to beat him up in the snow, and then his mom yelled at him for getting her car all wet because he went covered in snow. He went and sat in the car and cried. I was like, haha, you got yelled at. Kid was an asshole. And yes, he deserved it because he was throwing fucking ice at me. Not just snowballs, no. He was throwing big chunks of ice at me. I was like, really? Watch this fat girl run across 10 feet of snow and kick your ass. And I did. There's only like 6 feet of snow, but still. And I sat on him, beat him up. Kid picked on me all the time. And he used to make fun of me for being adopted until I heard my mom talking to his mom and being like, well, I don't understand. He makes fun of her for being adopted. And his mother was like, well, why would he do that? He's adopted. I was like, I overheard that and I just got the biggest grin on my face. I was like, ah, justice. So the next time we were in school and he started, I was like, what are you talking about? You're adopted too. And his friends started making fun of him. And I was like, haha, bye, man. My work here is done. And that'd be nice, Carol. Although, with all that snow and ice, if it warms up too much, then you're going to have flooding. Oh, that was sweet, Scarlett. Yeah, my mom got the rest of my barbecue chicken that I made. She loved it because I couldn't eat it. It tried to kill me. Yeah, Bobby knows you're not an angel, TG. Quit your lying. There shall be no lying in my chat. Well, a cheese toastie is a grilled cheese sandwich. Oh no, Carol. Yeah, the planet is all kinds off. I mean, there had blizzard warnings in California, in LA, and shit. They were showing some of the footage on the late night shows. People in California are not used to that kind of thing. They're like, no, what are you doing? One of the late night shows is like, yeah, the earth can shake and fall apart, and we sleep through it. But one flake of snow falls, and we're like, oh my God, I'm staying in the house. What's going on? What's happening? Well, it's good to know you didn't toast the salad. Yeah, see, Jennifer concludes. You are not so not an angel. How's the kids doing, Jennifer? Your girl still sneaking snacks? I got to tell you, I'm really glad my kids didn't have. I mean, my oldest daughter had weight problems, so oldest daughter and my younger daughter, both of my girls had weight problems, but not any kind of diabetic problem. And after hearing what you go through, I'm so glad that they didn't. Yeah, she's definitely got her fingers crossed behind her back when she says, my son didn't actually have a weight problem until DSS put him on the wrong medication. Social services decided they knew better than his psychiatrist. And he got misdiagnosed, put on the wrong medication, and he gained 90 pounds in 3 weeks when he was 11 years old. 90 pounds in 3 weeks. That is a massive weight gain for a child. I didn't even recognize him when he walked past the visitation room. he actually walked past it and then came back and came in the room, and I'm like, "Who is it? Oh my god, that's my kid." Because they hadn't let me see him for 3 weeks. I had to get my lawyer on their ass because they were being dicks about letting me see my kids, and, I had a really good lawyer that last time, so the first one didn't do shit, and I requested a new lawyer. Still eating whatever with ugh. Oh, no. Oh my god. Jennifer, I love you. You have your hands full. You definitely constantly on my candle, honey. Oof. Cutting someone's hair. Wow. Could have been worse. She could have stabbed him with scissors or something. So, I mean, on the bright side, but still. Yeah, it's that eating whatever thing that gets scary because we all know what can happen. And that is not a fear that a parent should have to live with. And kids just don't get it. They think they're invincible and they can do whatever they want without any consequences, both with the haircutting thing and, you know, food and things like that. I am really glad, not to sound mean, but I'm really glad I did not have to deal with that with my kids. Dibble is going to get her mom, so she is driving today. And she had to use her GPS on her phone, so yep, Monday is Dibble's birthday. Yay. Hey Shirley. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, Jennifer, I would imagine. It's like you want to sneak up on her and stab her with it, right? Ow, what are you doing? You need your shot. Shut up. Oh, your son's birthday is Monday too. Happy birthday to your son. My son's birthday is in July. And I'll tell you, when what the hell? No, I don't want to sign into OneDrive. I don't even use it. Go away. Um, my computer is doing things on its own. I'm not even touching it. Things are popping up. No. Um, when they changed his medication, it and he had that rapid weight gain, it chemically altered his system. Because before that, he was like 70 pounds soaking wet. I have a picture of him um, trapped in one of my computers. But I have a picture of him sitting on the porch, our front porch steps with John's dog Max, and he's eating one of those icy pop things. And the kid is, I mean, he was like 10 years old and he could still wear like a 5T t-shirt. He was so tiny. The doctors actually told me I should make him drink Ensure because they thought he was malnourished. I'm like, are you kidding me? The kid eats everything in the house. You know, I don't think so, Bobby. I think she's just visiting family. Um, but she doesn't drive, so Dibble's going to get her. And yeah, the doctor literally was like, "Well, I want him to drink Ensure." There was no way I was going to get my kid to drink Ensure. Um, and he wasn't malnourished. I mean, I when I cook, for the kids, I make sure that it's well balanced meals, and that doesn't include all the stuff that he grabs and hides in his room and eats. You know. Yeah, Jennifer, kids, right? So, but yeah, they chemically altered his system, and he's never been able to get the weight back off, and he won't eat correctly. So, I mean, he might be able to manage it if he ate properly, but he works at Wendy's, so he eats a lot of fried food, and he lives on Doritos. So, you know, um, So yeah, DSS fucked up my kid. I was not happy, and his shrink was pissed when she found out. Yeah, Bobby, insulin. Um, because when I got him back and made the appointment with his psychiatrist, who was the one that was had diagnosed him and was prescribing his medication. When we went in, she did a double take when she saw him, and she looked at me and I was like, okay, here's what happened. And I told her, and she was like, what? I was like, yeah. And she goes, hold on 1 minute, and literally picked up the phone in front of us and called and got the psychiatrist, the social security, the social services psychiatrist on the phone, and ripped her a new ass. Said she was going to report her to the medical board because she had never consulted with his current psychiatric care person. And I mean, she crazy went after this chick. She's like, do you know what you have done to this child? You know? And she was pissed. So we got him back on the right medication, but the damage was done because see, my son had ADHD with impulsive destructive disorder. I mean, he would burn calories sitting still, which he never sat still unless he was gaming, and then even then, he's always moving like a foot or something. Um, he still does that. He'll twitch his foot when he games. So I mean, he would burn off calories as soon as he consumed them, and the medication they put him on was not for children. It was actually not tested on anyone under the age of 18, and he should not have been put on that medication at all. And the reason I was able to get him back was because I ripped his caseworker a new ass because he told me, "Oh, there's no side effects." I was like, "You asshole! There's side effects to Tylenol if you take it wrong." I'm like, "What? Do you not research medication of the children that are under your care?" I ripped him a new one, and 3 days later they called me and told me to come pick up my kid. I was like, "Hell yeah!" like. So, but we had to wean him off the medication he was on because you couldn't just stop it, and then get him back on his normal medication because social services said he was bipolar. He was not bipolar, but the medication they gave him was not tested on children under the age of 18, and my son was 11. So, and I was like, I still do have parental rights, so you can't just go changing his medication like that, especially not without consulting a psychiatrist. So I gave them all the information. They had the name of the psychiatrist. She just refused to consult, and I don't understand why. You're supposed to be caring about the children that are under your care. You're supposed to be in their best interest and doing everything to make sure that they are healthy and safe. And let me tell you, doesn't happen. At least not here. At one point, he was at a place called Boys Home of the South, which they had what they called cottages. They were little houses, and there were 9 boys in each one, ranging in ages from like 5 and 6-year-olds all the way up to 16, 17-year-olds. And it was supposed to be a gated area. You're supposed to get clearance, and they're supposed to buzz you, like open the gate. And because I mean, there were all kinds of kids in there from all different problem homes, and then ones like mine where she shouldn't have been there in the first place. And I showed up one day for visitation, and you're supposed to check in the office, and then they watch for you to get to the gate, and then they click it so it opens and goes through, and then it closes. I got there one day and the gate's wide open, and I was like, "You guys forgot to close the gate," and she's like, "Oh, we just decided to leave it open." I'm like, "Okay, you have parents and relatives of children that are in here that will cause them harm." And they did have a couple of people just walk into the property, just walking around, no security, nobody said boo, total strangers. One kid, their uncle, who had been molesting him, and that's why he was in foster, social services care. His uncle just wandered on the property and tried to take him off the property. because the gate was left wide open. I'm like, yep, so glad you're looking after the children. I'm like, what the hell? And when my son and the kids in his cottage got blamed for damaging a minivan, I was like, well, let me see the footage. Because you just took like almost $300 out of 9 boys' accounts for a job that cost $50. And I want to see the footage that proves that these kids did this. And they're like, oh, well, we don't have cameras in the parking lot. I'm like, okay, well, I want to see the footage of when they left, the cafeteria. Oh, well, we don't have footage over the doors. There's a bubble there. There's no camera. And they're like, oh, there's a camera. They're just not working. I'm like, well, you better fix your systems. I was like, this is how you keep these kids safe. They had no proof, whatever. Yeah. So I ended up getting all the kids their money back because I had the news channel call them. Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's like they care about the kids until they're in the system, and then it's like, whatever. I mean, the psychiatrist, the social services psychiatrist, said that both of my kids said that they were so miserable at home they wanted to kill themselves. And I was like, what? So during visitation, I asked them, I was like, has home life been that miserable that you guys would tell the psychiatrist that you wanted to kill yourselves? And they both looked at each other and then looked at me and they're like, we never said that, together at the same time. So, I mean, so, so the psychiatrist is making up lies. I'm like, what the hell? Bye, Shirley. Have a great weekend. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I had a caseworker lie on the stand 2 minutes after putting his hand on the Bible and swearing to tell the truth. He lied on the stand. I'm like, that's typical. So crazy. Craziness. I am really glad that that whole thing is in the past, but it's still, I mean, between the cause of Social Security, I hate when I said constantly do that. Social services getting in my life, which was both of my daughters' thing. My son just wanted to stay home and play video games. The girls decided to destroy my life. Uh, between that and all the trauma that I went through dealing with social services and jumping through their hoops, only to have them not keep their word about what they were going to do. It's still, I mean, traumatic in my head. It destroyed my family, and that makes me sad. But we deal with it. I do think it's cute when you guys are like, "Oh, we'll have your son help you." And I'm like, "Uh, my son wouldn't help me hang a picture, okay? Let alone come all the way over here to help me move a box or some shit." My mom is pretty fed up with his behavior too. And now my grandson is starting to act just like him. She asks him to do anything, and he throws a fit. And I'm like, "You're almost 17 years old. Buck up, buttercup." You know? I mean, my personal opinion is that my grandson is high functioning autistic, but he is cognitive enough to be able to do things that he just doesn't want to do. So he throws a fit. Like she had asked him to come with her over here when she brought me food for Thanksgiving. Hi, Ella. And because we can't reach the ceiling fans, and the lights in my room, in my ceiling fan, either blew out or shook loose, so they don't work. The ceiling fan still works, but no light, no light for the ceiling fan. And she asked him to come over because he's like really tall and probably wouldn't even need a step ladder to reach the light bulbs. And he threw an absolute fit, and she was just like, "Never mind, I'll be back," because I'm not letting my 90-year-old mother climb on a chair to, you know, because there's no way for me to catch her if she falls. I mean, if she aims just right, she could land in my lap in the wheelchair. But You know what I mean? I'm not having my mom fall off a chair. So I need one of those things they use for changing light bulbs and chandeliers, like the long pole with the little suction cup thing on the end of it. I need one of those. Morning, Papa J. I'm so glad you're still alive and kicking. How you feeling? Good, I hope. Papa J, is Mr. Jim doing a sale tonight? I don't think I've seen a preview or anything. Thumbnail. I know he does them last minute. Good. Yes. Thank you, Papa J. Rockin' Saturday night. I do show up. I don't always say something because a lot of the times my hands are, on fire, so I don't always type in the chat. But I do watch, and I always have fun listening to Mr. Jim and Papa J and Miss Joni. So if y'all have not been to one of Mr. Jim's shows and you like stones and sterling jewelry and all kinds of cool shit, go check it out. Go get stoned with Mr. Jim. Oh yeah, I did. Thank you, darling. I think I didn't do it because Dibble is usually the only one that comes in, and I knew she was driving. But I will pin it. I'm not gonna be on too much longer because I am on free StreamYard. I can't afford the monthly bill for StreamYard this month. There, now it's pinned. Thank you, darling. Yeah, maybe next month. I'll be able to. Then I can have my background again, and I won't have to worry about limiting the time frames on my lives. I do want to have enough time for my sale tomorrow and possibly Monday. Hopefully, I make enough tomorrow that I don't have to do it again on Monday. But it all depends on how quickly people pay too. So that's why I'm like, shit. I did not leave myself enough time. But I'm really hoping everybody feels bad and just gets it paid really quickly when I send out the money requests. Darlene, no. I love you. That's awesome. No. Check. Oh, okay. Well, it just reset, so I'm good. I'm all right for right now. Oh, that was the link drop off group. Laura and Melanie, we need copy edition. 11:30, starting in 10 minutes. They're doing a sale. Timeless Jewels by Deborah is on. She's always fun. She was selling with Ella too on Thursday. It was fun. Lots of fun. And I'll tell you, Wonder Woman is doing so much better. She's improving every time she goes on. And I was very proud of her. I did give her a hard time because she kept forgetting to tell me how much she was selling things for. But that's how we learn, right? And it puts it in people's mind. Oh God, I don't want Kodi to give me a hard time, so I better put the the price in quick. I am a learning tool. But she did really well. She did really well. And she had some nice things. She had some really nice things. And Deborah's always got amazing jewelry. She has some really good prices on amber and sterling. She teased me with malachite pendulums. I'm like, girl, don't show those and then run away with them. Not that I can afford to buy them, but she's like, oh, I got a whole bucket load of these things. And I'm like, I do not have a pendulum. 53 years old. I have not been able to get a pendulum. It's weird. You would think, being a witch, I would have one, but I do not. Eventually, I will get one. I mean, I have crystals that I can use, but I do not have the pendulum itself. I do, however, have two magic wands. I have mine and I have my daughter Caleb's. If they're still in one piece, they're long glass tubes with crystals wire wrapped on them that a friend of mine made, oof, 20 years ago or so. She sent me one. She sent Caleb one. Yeah, I know, Papa J. I'm like, I'm a wanting witch. Yeah. I've just never been, whenever I see them or whenever someone has them, which is rare, I haven't been able to afford them. So I'll get one eventually. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, the wands are really well wrapped in bubble wrap, but they are about 18 inches long. I want to say 18 to 24 inches long. They're really long. So with all the travel and moving that I've done, I do not know if they're still in one piece, but I did have two of them. Oh, Papa J, you suck. I love Ann Stokes. I bet they're gorgeous. I can't afford those either. I want those, and I want the Louis Royo tarot cards. And I think Julie Bell and the hell's his name? Now I gotta look him up. Boris Vallejo. I knew it was something like that. I think they have tarot cards out as well. I tell you, if I could, my whole house would be decorated in fantasy art. Yeah, and her dragon deck. I love Anne Stokes dragons. Oh my god. There are so many artists that I love that, I mean, I can't even afford a print. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got caviar taste and a welfare budget. It really sucks. Anne Stokes is an amazing artist. And Julie Bell and Boris Vallejo, they have similar painting styles because Julie learned from Boris when they got together and she started painting. She was a model. She actually modeled for him as Vampirella. She was one of the first models for him for Vampirella. And that's how they met. And then she started painting. So they've done collaborative works too, where they both paint on the same canvas. Their art is amazing. They are amazing fantasy artists. Resting is good, Papa J. We need you to take care of you because we need you to stick around. POTUS. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Wendy, how are you feeling, honey? Oh, Papa J, you're just being cruel now. How are you and Toad feeling, Wendy? Did you get rid of the yuckiness yet? And of course, my favorite little Brit. What items did you get, Papa J? You knew I was going to ask. See, Lady Death stuff, I mostly just collect the cards, but I will collect other stuff if I like the artwork on it because they use different artists for all of the things on it. And my Wendy,
Hey, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm slowly recovering, slowly.
Yeah, it's rough.
It is really rough. The body aches. No, never again.
How's how's Toad doing? Did he get it hard too?
Yeah, he did get it hard. He got it before me, Cody.
Yeah, I know.
Bless him. But I was still testing positive 4 days ago.
Oh my God,
I've been testing positive for 2 weeks now.
shit! Don't want to let go of you.
Nope. I'm
Carded
good.
Lady Death and Lady Demon. Oh, I love Lady Demon too. Papa J. I'm so jealous right now.
Hey, Papa J. Hi, TJ.
My best friend and I started collecting Lady Death in 1994. We were collecting the cards, and I have the complete series one, except for like three or four of the acetates, which are the see-through ones, the specialty cards. But I have that full set, and I just found it when my mom and I were going through things. I was like, oh, there's my Lady Death stuff. Now it's buried again, but I did find it, and I have a partial Series 2 set, and then I have a partial Evil Ernie set, which is where Lady Death originated from, was in the Evil Ernie comics.
Hey, darling.
Yeah, well, Wendy's closer to an angel than you are, TJ. But you're lying.
I've just been on phone to my angel.
Yeah, well, your four-legged angel is currently stuffing her face on my floor.
Oh, I've just been on phone to little Brit.
How's she doing?
Oh, do you know what, Cody? She's got an attitude that stinks really bad.
What did she do?
I asked her to come and say hello to me while I were on phone to my mum, and she's like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm talking to my friends. She's only 10. Why have we got this teenage stage already?
they,
Like
grow,
it.
they grow up so fast these days.
We do.
You're just mum. I mean, she can talk to you anytime.
I know. She only wants to know me when she wants something, though.
Welcome to parenthood.
It's horrible.
It's
Nah.
that redhead. It's that redhead attitude. I'm telling you.
Well, you know.
Don't bug me, mom. I'll tell Kodi on you.
Yeah.
I love that girl. She's so cute.
She's a nightmare, Cody.
She's adorable.
Oh, yeah, well.
Hey, if you can call my this demon cat that I've got an angel, I can call your kid one.
Your cat don't get your mouth back, does it?
Yes, she does.
Meow, meow.
She squeaks. She goes meow, meow.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, the first time she ever meowed was so funny. John was in the other room, and she came in and I didn't have food down for her. She comes in and she sits in the middle of my floor and looks at me and goes, and I was like, John, your cat's broken. She's squeaking.
Does she sound like a kitten?
No, she sounds like a broken cat.
A broken cat.
Yeah. Her meow is broken.
Oh, bless her. She's so cute, though.
But Onyx more than makes up for it with her loud mouth. I swear Onyx has separation anxiety. If the dog and I are both out of my room, she will go to whatever door is closest to where we are in the other half of the house
Yeah.
and meow like she's dying.
Oh,
I'm like, shut up, cat. What are you doing?
poor
I mean,
broken.
she'll sit right at the door and she'll be like, meow, meow. I'm like, oh my God. They can hear her outside.
TG, you're naughty.
She is.
How's Simmy doing?
Simmy's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's always good. She's a good girl. I gotta show you. I showed Victoria this picture. If I can do it now, if my stuff locks up again, I'll be back. But we're gonna try.
Okay. And how's everybody doing in the chat? I feel so rough.
Yeah, I believe it. It took me forever to recover.
Like walking upstairs, Kodi, I'm out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it.
You should have seen me trying to get in a wheelchair when I was sick with it.
And
Because
the word,
my breathing was so bad.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just sitting here, I couldn't draw breath, right? So having to transfer and use, energy to get in the wheelchair, I'd have to sit there and rest for like 10 minutes before I could move.
Well, I don't even know what COVID rules are. If I'm still positive, I don't even know if I can go and see little Brit.
No, you can't.
I can't.
No.
I don't know what the rules are in UK. I don't keep up.
Well, I mean, basic general rule is if you're positive for COVID, then other people can catch it from you. So you should probably not go see her unless you want her to catch it.
I don't want her to catch it. That's.
So your dog is tired when she sleeps like this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm sitting here watching a movie the other night and I look over and that's what I saw. I was like, oh my God, I need to take a picture of that.
That is the most adorable picture I have seen.
Yeah, she was sleeping hard. I even poked her tongue because you have to, right? I
Oh,
poked her tongue and she didn't even twitch.
I love a collar. A collar's so cute.
Oh yeah, that's a Kong collar from the Kong company.
Yeah.
Because I wanted something that was going to last. She's had that collar since she was about a year old.
I'm good, Wendy. My roof fell down last week. Your roof fell down?
Yeah.
TG, what you been doing? Bouncing on it?
Stay off the trampoline, TG.
Yeah, stop bouncing on your roof, TG.
No, the corner of her building rotted out and the roof collapsed.
Oh my God, TG, are you okay? You didn't get hurt, did you?
But now they're telling her that she has to pay for it because it happened over her apartment. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. You guys have weird rules in the UK. Because she doesn't own the building, so why would she be responsible for building maintenance?
She's not responsible for building maintenance.
So she shouldn't have to pay for it, right?
Oh, talking about repairs. Let's my bedroom radiator, not my bedroom radiator, but one of my bedroom radiators are leaking and it's wetting my carpet, and plumber can't get out for a few weeks.
That's not good.
No, I know.
TG, who told you had to pay for that? Your landlord or you guys have councils for your apartments and stuff, right?
Yeah, we have councils. Are you private or council, TG?
Oh, she owns the house. Oh, I asked you if you owned it.
If you own the house, then you're gonna have to pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I asked because I was telling her, I said, if we rent apartments, we're not responsible for building maintenance. And she all sitting over there in Wales, all quiet and shit. I asked you.
Well, I'm still waiting for bloody plumber. Could be a few weeks yet, though. I have counsel, laugh out loud. I have counsel, laugh out loud. I'm confused now, TG.
Well, if it's an apartment building, then she would fall under the council for apartments, right?
I
As an owner.
I have counsel, laugh out loud. But if you own your own property, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I asked her if she was in a house or apartment or whatever, and
Yeah.
you never said you owned the building. Ugh, TG. See, this is why you're a brat. No angel status for you, like ever.
Laugh out loud, yay. Bless her. It's all right, TG. I've got repairs that need doing.
Such a brat. Because through that whole conversation, I was like, yeah, if we rent apartments here and something happens to the structure, the building itself, we don't have to pay for that. The owner of the building has to pay for it. Never once did she say, oh, well, I own it. I own the building.
Yeah.
We went through that whole thing for no reason, just because TG didn't pipe up and go, oh, but I own it. Ugh, bitch. Going to Cornwall in 8 weeks. Why? It's random. Going to Cornwall. Okay. What's in Cornwall that you're going to Cornwall for?
In 8 weeks.
Sorry, not sorry, bitch.
In comp.
For a holiday. Okay.
It's all right. She's
Cornwall's in England, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, you make sure you still have COVID and you go hug TG for me, all right?
Cornwall's pretty far away from where I am, actually.
Well, that sucks then.
Yeah.
Own this, bitch.
We're pretty far away from him.
Yeah, I know what a holiday is. My friend Nikki that lives in England used to go on holiday to where the hell did Spain? Spain, I think. She used to go on a holiday once a year with her mom.
Yeah, to Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spain is a big place for expats from England, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sad to say this, but I miss the Queen.
Do you?
Yeah. The King hadn't done anything.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Like, that's why I miss her. She did more.
But he freaks out when his pen leaks. No. I'm sorry, but I lost respect for Charles when I found out he was cheating on Diana. I'm like, you cheating bastard. TG, I don't have a problem saying Michael. You don't have to disguise it for me. I'm not Victoria.
Yeah, me too, TG. She, like, did more, didn't she?
I am very unforgiving when it comes to people who cheat.
Yeah, Diana didn't deserve that.
And he like flaunted at him, and it was in all the tabloids and all the papers and all that.
Any
You know, Charles
threatened to take them off her?
Huh?
He threatened to take them 2 boys off her.
Yeah. And he actually, when they got married, he was actually wearing something that Camilla had given him. It was some piece of jewelry. He wore it to his wedding. I'm like, now that is a dick move.
No, he hasn't done much yet.
So
there's not much of a king, really, is there? Sorry to say.
Well, I hope that improves, but don't really have high hopes for it. I mean, hell, you guys can't even keep a prime minister in office these days.
No, we can't.
I watch Russell Howard a lot.
England's just falling apart.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And food shortages and skyrocketing prices, and
Yeah. Oh,
that's happening here too, you know.
it's ridiculous.
I mean, we've got this like egg crisis thing going on. Crazy. I've got an 18 count of eggs in my fridge, and I'm afraid to use them because I can't afford to get more eggs. I've got little egg-shaped gold in my fridge right now.
Wow.
I think that 18 count when I bought it cost me like $8. I mean, that's crazy. Used to be able to get a dozen eggs for like 60 cents. Now, if you want a dozen eggs, it costs you $5.
Like, the limit in tomatoes. What the bloody hell's going on?
Well, COVID caused a lot of problems with all kinds of production,
It
and
did.
then here they said that there was a bad run of bird flu. Bye, Carol. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Carol.
So a lot of chickens died or had to be put down because they had bird flu. And
Hey,
of course, in order to build up the chicken population again, it takes a little while. I mean, chickens aren't just born and start laying eggs. They have to mature first before they lay eggs. So, they have to have viable eggs that hatch and then raise them and then have those chickens lay eggs, et cetera, to build up the chicken stock again. So,
So I paid £9 for 9 bog rolls.
wow,
That's £1 a bog roll.
that's a
Which
lot.
that's
Thank you, Carol.
But I don't like going to my local shop as it's my landlord's shop, and he charges some rate prices.
Yeah. The chicken did, TG. It evolved from a dinosaur. And then it laid an egg.
Yeah, £9. TG. I will like.
Yeah, Bobby, I agree. Charles has never had likable status. Well, I mean, I didn't really know too much about him until the whole, he married Diana, and that, I mean, went worldwide news, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, after him flaunting his mistress in her face, I was like, that's just a bitch move. I'm like,
I'm sorry for everybody that likes Charles. I don't like him.
I mean, I've never been one of those people that fanatically follows the royals. I know a lot of Americans do. We're fascinated with royalty in general, because most little girls want to be a princess when they grow up. You know what I mean? They're like, I want to be a princess. And we play pretend with princesses. I always pretended to be a Black Panther. I didn't want to be a princess. I wanted to be a big cat that could kill people. But I was never. But when it's thrown in your face in the news all the time, you notice it. And yeah, porcelain one. But you heard about all the good things that Diana was doing around the world, and then here's Charles just sitting back kicking it with his whore. I mean, his mistress, and it's like, what the hell, you know? She's out doing good things, and you're being a lazy dick, hanging out with your mistress, flaunting in her face. Nope.
I'm a Brit and I don't follow it.
How do people feel about his son?
Whose son?
The next in line.
I don't know.
You don't know? No opinion?
No.
I know the boy. I know both boys made a lot of press when they were younger.
They did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I like the one that moved to America more.
Yeah.
I do. But he had to get away.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he took a stand, and I fully respect him for that. It's like, no, you will not treat my wife and child like that. We're done. We're gone. We don't need this toxic shit anymore.
Exactly. And he were worried that they were trying to run his wife off at road and do the same what they did to his mum.
Mm-hmm.
it brought back bad memories for him. So, TG, I won't have to drip dry. I'll use Toad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll use Toad. It's okay, TG. We're all good.
Well, mostly, I mean, mostly you guys have the monarchy because it's historical.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really have any power or anything, but it's a historical thing. England's always had royalty, and that's,
And that's Jack's argument. It's either Parliament or royalty that one or other should just take over.
I mean, I don't think that the royal family should be asking for welfare checks for their billion-dollar mansions. Come on, please. You know what I mean? But if you can't keep the lights on at your palace, you better invest in some damn candles.
So,
because having 10 or 12 castles or estates isn't really necessary for anyone.
It's not. It really ain't.
So, TG, you don't even want to pay the bill for your roof. How are you going to maintain a mansion?
I don't even want a mansion, TG.
I wouldn't mind one. I could have wheelchair races in the hallway.
I won't want to live in that big of a place.
I love big spaces.
No.
That, and I would, if I could afford a mansion, I could afford to have live in help. And in a mansion, there'd be plenty of places for them to sleep. You know what I mean?
Wee, laugh out loud.
Yeah, wheelchair races with myself because I'm the only one there. But I'd also be able to have the electric wheelchair because I wouldn't have to worry about the dog having to go underneath the wheelchair to get outside.
Kodi needs to come to UK.
Why?
Kodi will get kicked out at UK.
Yeah. I'd get banned. They'd be like, "No, bitch, we don't want you back here. Go home."
Oh, bless you.
But you know what? You know what's funny is if I lived in the UK, I would want to live. I would want to live in one of a little village. I wouldn't want to live in the city or a big town. I'd want to be in one of those smaller little villages. Population 2,000 or something, and where everybody knows your business and shit like that. They just seem friendlier. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you say hi to everybody. I mean, you live in too big of a place, and people don't care anymore. They're just too busy doing their own thing. Kent. I love you, Kent. He said, this queen is happy with 6 acres. Yeah, TG, but apparently your little village is falling apart. I want one that's still standing by the time I'm done with it.
Oh my goodness.
I just always thought those places were cool. I watched a movie, another one of my little horror movies. It's called Wyvern or Wyvern. And it takes place in a small town in Alaska.
Oh, cool.
And everything, all the stores and the little hotel and everything is all in this square, this one spot in the middle of town. And everybody lives, their homes are out in the woods and stuff, except for the few that live in town. But it just seemed really cool because I mean they had a hotel that had a diner in the bottom part of it, which was cool. And then they had a radio station and then they had a tattoo shop, and then they had a general store. And it just looked like a really friendly place to live, you know what I mean? So stuff like that appeals to me. I would be totally happy, except for the snow part. I would be totally happy living in a small place like that in Alaska. I can't do the snow now, though. But when I was younger, I wouldn't have had a problem with it.
Alaska has the biggest butts.
Alaska.
Oh
Or
my
Texas.
goodness, TG.
Yep, Kent. Love your little country town. That's right. I mean, the town I grew up in was not small, but it was very boring. There was like nothing there. We didn't even have fast food restaurant. You know, as a teenager, we spent all our time getting drunk or high because there was nothing to do. It's not like that now. Now they have fast food places and all kinds of stuff, but it was now I would appreciate it more how it was back then because it was very calm and peaceful and it was nice. But
Can no stoplights.
yeah,
No stoplights.
I think we had, so I'm trying to remember. In town, we had, I think, 2 different intersections that had stoplights, and that's because it was near the highway. But other than that, it was stop signs, which everybody ignored. It's Massachusetts. You roll through yield signs.
Oh,
It's a rolling stop. It's how my dad got in his car accident. But yeah, I mean, I did not appreciate the place as a kid because, like I said, it was very boring. There was nothing to do. But as an adult, I'd be all for living there, except now the homes there cost like $1 million. I know. I looked my old house up on Zillow, and it sold for $950,000 the last time it got sold.
wow.
Yeah. Yep. Darlene knows she's a asshole. So yeah, my grandmother's house, which my grandfather built, was in Carlisle, Massachusetts, which is a very rich town. Sold when my aunt and uncle sold it. They sold it for 1.5 million.
Wow.
And yeah, 10 years later, it sold for 3 million.
Wow.
Yep. So
It's crazy.
yeah. Well, there was the town that I grew up in. They moved in a bunch of computer companies, so it was kind of like a mini Silicon Valley. Like there was all kinds of computer places there. So we had a lot of rich people in town. So of course, the architects and stuff went, "Oh, let's build ritzy houses, and these people will buy them," and they did. So when my parents moved out of South Carolina in '94, they sold their house. I think was 750,000. You know how much they paid for it 53 years ago?
How much?
$30,000.
Fucking hell.
Yep, they paid 30 grand for the house that I grew up in, and they sold it for 750,000.
Shit.
Yep, came to South Carolina and bought a house in the same type of neighborhood that they, had lived in before. Bought a house for 80 grand. So, yeah.
The goose crossed the road, yeah.
And sadly, none of that money is mine. So, but there used to be a duck pond on the way to my grandmother's house. There was this house. And it was a big farmhouse on the right side of the road. And there was a little right after the house, there was this big field, and there was a little almost like a turnaround type of thing where you could pull over off the road. And if you walked, I don't know, maybe a quarter of an acre in, there was a duck pond, and there was always geese and ducks in it.
Oh.
So when I was a kid, I used to be like, I want to go see the geese and ducks, and we'd go and we'd stand there. And my dad would be like, can we go now? Because my dad hated shit like that. But yeah, we used to always go visit the ducks. And then one day he's like, I'm not stopping at that damn duck pond. Don't even ask me. And that was the last time we ever got to see them. Welcome back, Papa J. But
My- oh, I had to take my cat to the vet
oh no, why?
because I thought it were reblocking again, Cody.
Oh no.
It weren't.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I
So
moved. I moved the cat. I had my mom finally move the cat box into the other room, into the what's the storage room, because I have the connecting door open,
yeah.
and I was like, you know what? Since that room is open and they're in there all the time, let's put the cat box in there. That way, it's not in my bedroom because there's just no space in here. And Onyx tends to cover things in the litter box for like 20 minutes, and
We
that sound drives me absolutely out of my tree.
Yep, it does me too. The change. So basically, they changed his name on his medication. His medication changed, yeah.
Yeah,
And then he run that for about a month, and he started acting weird again and started squatting again. And I'm like, oh no, here we go. He weren't blocking though.
did they put him back on the other meds?
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
yeah, they did.
Saw Canada geese in the field across the street the other day. In the spring, we have cranes migrate. Oh, that's cool.
Aww.
Yeah, we used to always watch the geese fly overhead. We'd hear them first, then we'd see them.
I pay £17 for his medication.
Wow.
Yeah. It's gone up dramatic from £14 to £17.
Well, I'll tell you the stuff that Christy had sent to me for fleas for the
Yeah.
dog. That stuff is amazing
What?
because it's been over a month and still there's no fleas in my house.
Oh, what it for? Oh, for dog.
Yeah, for the dog.
Oh,
Yeah, Bravecto is amazing.
I use Advantage.
That stopped work. It worked for the cats, but it wouldn't work on the dog.
Really?
Yep. I tried Advantage. I tried Frontline Plus. I tried the Nexstar, and the other stuff. I've tried like 3 or 4 different flea treatments, the spot on treatments, and within 2 days the dog would be covered in fleas again. And I'm like, ah, because of course if the dog's bringing in fleas, the cats get them. Then I have to treat all 3. But
Yeah.
if the dog doesn't bring the fleas in, then the cats don't get them because the cats don't go outside. So it saves me money not having to treat the cats. And I'll tell you, within an hour of giving Simi the Bravecto little
Yeah.
chewy thing, which she gobbled up like it was the greatest thing on earth,
Oh,
um,
bless her.
within an hour, no fleas in sight. None.
Oh, so I'm glad. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Maybe certain flea treatments don't work for her.
Well, I think the fleas here kind of got resistant and like I don't know, maybe her system adjusted to them or something. I don't know. But they would only work for a couple of days and then they'd stop working. And I'm like, I cannot afford to keep putting this stuff on the dog, So
No.
Christy S was like, I use Bravecto, and I'm like, I can't afford Bravecto. And next thing I know is I got an email saying that Bravecto was on its way. I was like, oh my god, and that is the best thing since sliced bread for this dog. I am so glad because she was so miserable.
Oh, bless.
She was chewing her hair off and trying to, scratching all the time. Poor baby. So
Yeah. I use Advantage on my cats.
yeah, I use Advantage on the cats too. So what I did is I got the Advantage for the cats, and I gave Simi the Bravecto when it got here,
Yeah.
and none, none. Oh, they're horrible in South Carolina, Kent. They're horrible.
I don't like fleas. I'm allergic to them. I come out in a right big rash.
Well, I'll tell you, the dog sleeps on my bed, so her being, having fleas was not nice because they would land on my face, and I freaking hate that. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm trying to sleep, get off me.
I,
And
I come out in blotches.
yeah,
They make you itch, don't they?
well, yeah, that's It's their saliva. It's their saliva that makes you itchy.
Ugh.
But yeah. So everybody got treated at the same time. All the fleas died, and it's been probably about 2 months, 2.5, 2 or 3 months, I think. When did she send it? I forget when I got it. Actually, I probably wrote it down somewhere. Um, but yeah, it was December that she ordered it, and I think it got here in January.
Yeah. So it's been
So
about a
in
month or so.
January, February, it's been about a month maybe, but
Yeah.
it's working awesome, and the cats are happy because they don't have any.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because when cats have fleas, they race around and then they stop, and then they either scratch or they lick, and then all of a sudden they race around some more, and it's I got run over so much. I'm like, oh, get off me.
I have a 12-year-old cat, and she has really bad reactions to fleas and worms.
Yeah, my Great Dane was really bad allergic to fleas. He lost most of his hair because
Yeah.
of fleas back, I mean, this was 20 years ago. Before we could, I mean, it was within a couple of days before we could, because we were waiting for a paycheck to be, because we had 5 dogs and like 11 cats.
Oh, wow.
So flea treatment was really expensive, and we had to wait for both of us to get paid before we could go buy all the stuff for them. And that poor dog, I felt so bad for him. There's nothing worse than a naked Great Dane, except maybe a naked cat. But yeah, once he had the treatment and the fleas were gone, his hair came back, which was good. Because my baby was so beautiful. He was black and white, like a tuxedo.
Oh, bless
Yeah,
him.
he was mostly black, and he had the white on his chest. He had a little bit of white on his chin, and he had white on his paws. His name was Apollo, and he was an awesome dog.
I
And my
love
neighbor, my
it.
neighbors killed him.
Aw.
Yep. They put antifreeze in my yard, and he drank it, and he died.
I have 5 adult cats and a kitten.
So, well, I have these 2 demon cats, and I'm good with that. Don't want any more. My neighbor Donnie, the one that helps me out sometimes, he
Yeah.
his Chihuahua Snowball is
Yeah.
pregnant.
Aw.
Yeah, and I looked at him. I said, "Don't even ask me. The answer is no." So that's all I need is be running over a Chihuahua puppy in my wheelchair. So I do not need any more dogs to have to deal with. Nope. I've got enough to handle with the 1 dog and the 2 cats.
I can send your kitten down in post if you want, Kodi.
No, I'm sending you the bitch cat. You better not let her sit in customs too long. She'll probably kill people.
That'd be funny.
I'm going to label the box Catzilla. Beware.
Oh, bless her. She can't be that bad.
She bit Issa on the ass
That's okay.
on purpose. It was so funny. It still makes me laugh because I watched the entire process. And I watched her actually because she's blind in one eye. So she actually was sitting behind Issa. Issa bent over to do something with cat food. And the cat actually lifted up a little bit like she was gauging the distance because depth perception is hard for a one-eyed cat. And then she crouched back down and just leaped and just bit right into her butt. I'm like, oh my God. That was
Neat.
funny. And she did that twice, 2 different occasions. She would try and make that girl bleed no matter what.
She didn't like her, obviously.
Yeah, she did not like her at all. Which is why I did not let Issa take her after John died.
Handle with care.
Yeah. Because Issa was like, well, I'll take, Marty. And I was like, no, leave Marty here. And she goes, well, why? It was John's cat. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but she's growing up with Onyx. They've been together for over a year. So they're bonded now. And, you've got enough to deal with Talon and the dog and the cat, which she started letting her cat go outside. So could you imagine her just letting Marty run around outside? Marty, I'm like, no. Issa's cat just disappeared. Because she
Wow.
was letting her outside. She's like, well, I didn't like changing the litter box anymore. So I put the litter box out on the balcony and I just let her go outside. And I'm like, oh my God. And then almost she texts me and she's all concerned because her cat's missing. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have let her outside.
I have an
You have a what?
I have an outdoor cat that goes outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're no fun.
I don't
They're
let
no
my
fun.
cats go outside.
Well, I don't let the others go outside, but I do let her go outside because she's used to going outside.
Yeah.
She brought an
I
alive mouse in my house.
well, she thinks you're a lousy hunter and need help.
Yeah, it were alive though, Cody, and it ran under my sofa.
Well, she's trying to train you.
Yeah, I had to capture it because Jack was screaming like a girl.
Ah, that's how mamas. That's how mama cats teach their babies. You know, they catch live prey and they bring it back to the babies, and the babies have to chase it and hunt it and kill it.
Well, I weren't killing it. I didn't kill it.
Killer whales do the same thing. They'll
I
uh,
didn't.
they'll grab a seal or sea lion or whatever they're hunting, and they'll injure it, but they'll bring it back to their younger, whales, and then they'll release it, and then the younger ones have to learn how to kill it. Cat, that's funny.
Oh, Ken.
Kent just killed Cody.
Small dogs are always feistiest ones, though.
I am not a fan of Chihuahuas.
I'm not a fan of a small dog. I think they're very feisty.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the breed overall. I have met individual Chihuahuas that I did like, but of the breed itself, not so much. They're just too small for me, you know. And I mean, the guy across the street, when we moved in here, he had one Chihuahua. Her name was Fifi, which John and I laughed every time he was out there calling for the dog. Um, and she used to chase people. Like if you rode a bicycle down our street, she'd like run up the street as you're coming down, and she'd chase you until you were well past her house. And she even tried to attack a Federal Express truck. Nothing funnier than seeing a Chihuahua trying to attack a Federal Express truck, a FedEx truck. I'm like, I mean, she nipped at a lot of people, and I'm like, I hope your dog doesn't bite anybody. But now he's got Snowball, which is Fifi's daughter, and
Oh,
he's all pissed off because Snowball is pregnant. And I'm like, well, this is what happens when you let your dogs out and don't supervise them, Donnie. I mean, we have so many dogs that run around in this neighborhood. Like people down the street have like 7 dogs. They do not keep them fenced in. They're just loose all the time. And a lot of them are Chihuahua mixes. And that's who Fifi got pregnant by, is one of them down there. Hopefully not the pit bull that's down there, because that dog is going to explode when she has those puppies. But he's like, well, I'm taking her to the pound. I'm like, no, you're not. I was like, why don't you get her fixed? Then she can't get pregnant. She won't wander away. You know? He's like, she out running the neighborhood. I'm like, Donnie, it's your fault. You know?
that's
Oh,
right.
Borzois are nice. They were used to hunt wolves, right? Yep. Borzois are awesome dogs.
It's these.
That's an interesting combination there, though, in size, Kent. Yeah, one time in the house we had we had 2 Great Danes, because John, the Wonder Boy, told the lady I worked with that we would babysit her daughter's Great Dane. Supposed to be for a month. 9 months later, the dog was still in my house. And he had just gotten me a Great Dane for my birthday. He got me Apollo for my birthday. So I had a 4-month-old Great Dane and I had a 9-month-old Great Dane. Plus we had his Roddy Bloodhound mix dog. And we had the Shepherd Collie, which I brought with me from Massachusetts, which adopted my son. And then we had the cats. So, and we couldn't even keep track of all the cats. But the visiting Great Dane ate my house. My Great Dane behaved himself, but I only had 1 crate. So, I was crate training my Great Dane because we got him at 4 months old. So he got a little late start, although he picked it up really quick. He was a very good dog. Her dog had a lot of anxiety issues, separation anxiety. She was fine when we were home, but as soon as we left, she would tear the house up. She ate through 3 couches. one of which was an $800 sectional that someone had given us. She ate directly down through the cushions to the springs. Yep, Russian wolfhounds. Um, and she just peed and pooped all over the carpeting. We had to tear the carpeting out of the mobile home. But
Oh,
when we were home, she would let us know she had to go out. But when we left immediately, then she got a hold of because Great Danes can reach everything on your counter, and the kids wash the dishes, and I didn't think about it. It's partially my fault. We had a lot of plastic cooking utensils. Yeah,
yeah.
I do use the word had, because she got up there and pulled them all out of the dish strainer and ate them. When she started chewing on the walls, I was like, okay, the dog has to go. It's been 9 months. We haven't even heard from this girl. Like and she gave us one bag of dog food, and it was Old Roy. And Walmart brand dog food is one of the worst brands you can feed a dog because it's all filler. There's like no nutritional value. Um, we threw that shit out in the wood for the coyotes. I was like, let them eat it, you know. So, I'm feeding all these dogs, and feeding 2 Great Danes is hugely expensive. They eat a lot. Uh, so I called Great Dane Rescue, and they said that I had to have the dog tested for heartworm. She had to have all these shots. I'm like, it's not my damn dog. And they're like, well, you took responsibility for the dog, so legally it's your dog. And I'm like, but it's not my dog. I can't afford to heartworm test her and do all this stuff. I mean, it would have cost me $2,000 for all the stuff they wanted me to do before they'd take her.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay. So what I ended up doing was taking her down to the animal shelter, which is a no-kill shelter. I took her down to the animal shelter, and I handed them the dog and the paper with the Great Dane Rescue number on it. I said, here, call these people. And they ended up, doing her shots because they always heartworm test and do all the preliminary shots at the shelter. So she had all that done, and then they called Great Dane Rescue, and Great Dane Rescue came and got her. So she ended up at Great Dane Rescue, which is where she should have been if they hadn't given me such a damn hard time. And a few days before that happened, we were going over to my mom's house because it was my daughter's birthday, my older daughter's birthday. And we get a phone call out of the blue, and it's the dog's owner. And I told her, I was like, well, we're not going to be home today. We're leaving in a few minutes. So, give me a call tomorrow. And because she wanted to come see her dog. I'm like, after 9 months, you have suddenly remembered you have a dog. And I don't know how anybody can be separated from their dog that long without even calling to see how their dog is doing, And she was like, okay, fine, no problem. So we get in the car and we leave, and we're driving down the street, had just turned onto the main road. And John goes, I think that was the girl who owns the dog just drove past us. I'm like, what are you talking about? I told her that we weren't going to be home. Shit. So I turned around, and she was trying to get through the front window.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, she was breaking into my house. And so John ran for the back door. I went in the front door. And she's like, I want my dog, blah, 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 acting like I wouldn't give her the dog, because I had told her, I said, we will also discuss how much you owe me for babysitting this dog and feeding it for 9 months without any help from you. So apparently she didn't want to give me any money for all the dog food that the dog had eaten, plus all my stuff the dog had destroyed. And so I went in the front door, John went in the back door, and he slapped my 9mm in my hand as I went through the living room. And I walked out and I was like, I'm going to shoot you right in the ass. And her boyfriend is like, get in the fucking car. And they went out my driveway sideways. And she's like, my dog wouldn't hurt me. And I was like, yeah, but the other 3 would. Because she might know her dog, but she didn't know the other dogs. They were very protective. So she would not have made it in the window, And her dog didn't know her because her and her husband had gotten the dog when it was a puppy.
Yeah.
And the dog was about 3 months old when they split, and he stole the dog. It's supposed to be her dog. He took the dog. And she didn't see the dog for another 6 months. When she finally tracked him down and found the dog, this poor dog was chained up on a 5-foot chain with a doghouse that a Chihuahua would find cramped. Its food was just thrown on the ground. amongst all the poop because, of course, the dog can only go to the bathroom so many places in 5 feet area, and
Yeah.
needed medical attention. I mean, the dog. Great Danes do not live outside. It's not an outside dog,
No,
and
it's not.
you know, so she kidnapped the dog back, but then she lived with her mom, and her mom's landlord was like, "No dogs allowed." So that's why they asked if we could watch the dog for a month while her daughter found a place to live that would allow for the dog. And I'm sitting there thinking, we have enough animals to take care of, and we can't really do that. And John went, sure, no problem. And I'm like, shit. Yeah. I mean, this dog had the most beautiful soul. She was white with the little guppy dots, like the little
Oh,
tiny polka dots, and merle spots, like the blended gray, white, blue type of coloring.
yeah.
And her name was Lucky. She had not had a very lucky life, but her name was Lucky. And she just, I mean, she loved to just come over and just lay her head on you and just kind of snuggle with you. And like I said, when we were home, she was perfect. She was, she would let us know when she had to go out. She did try and get a hold of the kids' stuffed animals and stuff. And I told them, I keep your doors closed because if the dog gets in there, she's a Great Dane. You're not going to get your toy away from her. That's how my son lost his security puppy. He had a stuffed puppy that he carried everywhere with him in the house, and she got a hold of it and he pulled and its head popped off. So that was the end of the puppy. Because I wasn't sewing that shit back together. So I did, with the number for Great Dane Rescue, I did write down things about the dog's personality traits and issues that we had and things like that, because people should be prepared if they're
Yeah.
getting, especially a dog that big, you know. You should be completely prepared for what you're in for. So I let them know, I mean, she couldn't help her issues. I mean, this poor dog had been left outside with no protection. I mean, she couldn't even get her head in the doghouse. That's
Oh,
how
bless.
small the damn thing was. I mean, come on. So, and then the girl confronted me in Walmart about a week after I had dropped the dog off at the animal shelter. I was at the quote unquote rich Walmart, and this girl's like, I want my dog, from out of nowhere, like really loud. And she's like, you redheaded bitch. And that stopped me because I didn't even know she was talking to me. And John went, uh oh. And the kids took a step back. They were like, Dad, get out of the way. And I turned around and looked at her. And she's like, you stole my dog and I want my dog. And I ripped her a new asshole in the middle of Walmart. And she's like, I'll kick your ass. I'm like, bring it, bitch, because I have no problem smearing you all over Walmart's floor. And everybody at the registers is like, oh, free show, And their management came over and goes, is there a problem? I'm like, only if she swings first. And they were like, well, haven't you checked out? I'm like, yep. And they're like, well, maybe you should go. And I'm like, I'm not turning my back on that bitch. Are you kidding me? I was like, she tried breaking in my house. I had to pull a gun on her to get her away from my property. And they were like, oh shit. So I'm like, and you heard everybody that was within distance that heard that went, oh, yeah. It was definitely like a Jerry Springer sideshow thing. It was so funny. And so he's like, well, I'll make sure she stays here. Why don't you guys go ahead and get to your car? I'm like, all right. I was like, but if she breaks free, I'm throwing her at you. And the girl's eyes just went huge round. And she turned around and looked at her boyfriend and goes, aren't you going to do anything? And he goes, hell yeah, I'm going to get out of the way. He goes, that bitch was going to shoot me. Are you kidding me? And my kids are laughing. They're like, don't mess with my mom.
Oh, bless them.
Yeah. So that was the Great Dane debacle. But she was such a sweet dog, and I just felt so bad. But I couldn't afford for her to eat my house. You know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah.
And we really, we were struggling. We had to put the dogs on gravy train, which I didn't like because it's a lower quality food. And we had to cook like 4 cups of rice, which makes 8 cups after it's cooked, and mix gravy train with rice and a little bit of water so that you get the gravy.
Yeah.
And that's how we had a procession line. We had like a manufacturing line going on with the bowl of rice and the dog food bowls, and we'd like scoop it and put it in each bowl, and 8 scoops, 9 scoops for the Great Danes. It's crazy because we had to make the food stretch.
Mm.
So they were not eating as healthy as they should have been, and I felt bad, but I just couldn't afford to feed her anymore. and I couldn't afford to replace the walls in my house. She literally started chewing on the drywall. So,
Yeah.
you know, so I felt bad, but hopefully she got a good home with somebody that either is home all the time or with, had some place that she like a crate that she could go in when they're not home.
Do you know my favourite dog of yours, Cody, is Miha?
Yeah, I miss Miha.
Oh my goodness, she was beautiful.
She was. Well, we'll say she is because I'm just gonna keep that thought alive. I mean,
Yeah,
she was up there in age, but I'm hoping that she found a really nice forever home with somebody that appreciated her.
she
It broke my heart to give that dog up.
she is beautiful.
Yeah, Shepherd Akita.
She was beautiful.
And somebody threw her out of a car when she was 4 months old.
Are you being serious?
Yep, her and her sister.
That's disgusting.
At the end of our street, they just pulled over, threw the dogs out of the car, and took off. So
That's
I sent John out for cigarettes one night, and he came back with a dog, and I'm like, I can't smoke that. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm out of cigarettes. Go get my cigarettes. And then he went out and came back with another dog. I'm like, stop it. And he wanted to keep them both. And I'm like, we're not even supposed to have more than one dog in this house, and we already have one because we had Coco, my son's dog. And
yeah.
I was like, your boss, which I rent from, doesn't want more than one dog in the house. And he's like, oh, I can get around that. I'm like, no, you cannot. But these puppies didn't even know how to play. It's like
Oh,
they had been kept in a yard with big dogs or something. They had kind of war wounds on them from getting rolled.
oh,
And
bless.
so I was like, okay. I was like, I'll tell you what. I was like, they're about 3.5, 4 months old. We will keep them for 30 days and we will train them as best we can and get them more puppy like because they were like afraid they wouldn't even play with each other. It's like they didn't know how, you know.
Oh,
And I said, and then they are going to the shelter because they are adorable and beautiful. And if they have, good personalities and they like to play, they are more adoptable. I was
yeah.
like, so we will keep them for a month and then they will go. He's like, fine. Well, the 30 days came and I called animal control to come get the dogs. I said, well, we found these puppies. I didn't tell them we'd had them for a month because they would be like, nope. You know, I was like, we
Yeah.
found these puppies. I said, can you come get them? And they were like, yeah. Well, little did I know, John took off out the back door with Miha. So I only had one puppy to give to animal control when they showed up. And she's like, well, the call was for two. I was like, yeah, apparently my roommate has kidnapped the other one. He doesn't want to give her up. So she started laughing. She goes, men, right? I'm like, right. So then John told his boss that we were babysitting. We were puppy sitting. 4 years later, his boss, landlord, was like, still dog sitting, huh? And I was like, they just never came back and got her. He's like, I don't know who you think you're lying to. I was like, but you've known it for 4 years and it's too late now. He goes, it's a good thing she behaves. So yeah, we got away with that one. But yeah, we had her from when she was a baby. And
Oh,
uh and John was absolutely useless training her. I trained Miha.
did you?
Hmm. I
She
trained
was,
all our dogs.
she was
Hell, when he married Issa, I had to train her too. I mean her dog too.
really?
Yeah.
That's craziness. Why would you abandon babies?
I don't know. A lot of people here in the South have a different view on dogs. Um,
Yeah, but there's shelters that'll take them, isn't there?
mhm.
So, like,
Yep.
don't take much people.
No, it doesn't.
Takes a
So,
phone call.
but yeah, John gave Dodge to Issa as a Valentine/wedding present. He was 3 months old. He was a lab pit bull mix,
Oh,
and
bless.
his legs were about an inch too short for his body. It was funny. Like as
Oh,
an adult, they were too short. It just the dog kind of looked just a little off plumb, and I'm like, what is wrong with? I'm like, why does the dog look weird? And then I realized his legs were too short for his body, and I couldn't get over it after that. But he kind of looked and acted like Marmaduke, like he didn't have control of his own ass. Um,
oh,
but he was, and I used to go, oh, my mama done told me I'm a good boy, because I don't know, he seemed hillbilly to me. And
yeah.
he was a really sweet dog. Simi loved Dodge. Oh my God, she always wanted to play with Dodge. But Issa didn't know how to train him. I had to train him to walk on a leash. And we were eating outside one day, and I was sitting there, and we had these like bar stools that we were using as tables.
Yeah.
And so I had mine in front of me, and John was across from me, and then Issa was between the two of us. My son was down like in the driveway off the porch, and Miha was outside, and Coco was outside, and Dodge was outside. And I was like, no begging. And Miha and Coco immediately walked away and laid down, facing away from me, because that's what they were trained to do. I hate being stared at when I eat. Dodge sat there like a big old dopey dog. He was about 6 months old at the time. He sat there just staring at us. And I looked at John. I'm like, I thought you were training the dog. He goes, well, I'm like, bye, Papa J. Have a great weekend. I'll see you tonight.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Issa picks up, I think it was a piece of bread or biscuit or bun or something, and throws it over my food. And her dog jumps up midair, drool hanging out of his mouth, and snags it right over my bowl of food.
Wow.
And I looked at her. I said, do not do that again. And she goes, it's my dog. I'll give him food if I want to. I was like, if you do that again, I'm giving him your food. Like all of it. I was like, that was the rudest thing I've ever seen anyone do. I was like, he, one, could have knocked my food over, and then I wouldn't be able to eat. Or two, I could have got dog drool in my food. I'm like, gross. I'm like, we might not be at a table, but having table manners is a good plan. I was like, and you shouldn't be feeding the dog when everybody else is still eating. I'm like, if you want to give him something, take him, a few feet away and give him food over there, away from people that are eating.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I'll do whatever I want with my dog. And I'm like, John, tell her. And he was like, she will give your food to the dog. She goes, are you going to let her talk to me like that? He goes, hell yeah, I don't want her giving my food to the dog. And 3 days later, we were eating, and well, we ate between them, but 3 days later when we were eating, Dodge is sitting there, and I looked at the dogs, and I was like, no begging. And Dodge turned around with the other dogs, walked away, and laid down.
Wow.
John was like, I have no idea how you do that. I said, because I'm good. And I looked at Issa. I said, if you call that dog over here while I'm eating, I will give him your food. And she didn't say a word. So yeah, I had to train her too, because she didn't. I mean, she was the kind of person that was like, Dodge, I don't know why you're not listening to your master. And I'm like, your master? I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have pets. Like she didn't know how to even have a dog. She didn't know how to have a cat. She had a cat too. Her cat didn't like her. Because she would rough up its fur the wrong way. And I'm like, don't pat a cat like that. They don't like it. Like cats like their hair going all in one direction, not being all scruffed up. You can do that with a dog. You can't do it with a cat.
No, you can't do it with the cat. They'll attack you.
And she would do that with all the cats. And I'm like, stop doing that. That's why they don't like you.
But it sounds in it, no cat likes her.
Yeah. So yeah, we had to train Issa as well as the dog. I'll tell you though, the dog trained faster than Issa did.
I bet.
So, but Dodge was a very good boy, and he trained really quickly because both pitties and labs are really smart.
They
So
are.
he had the both breeds going for that. So, yeah. So I had to train her dog too.
Where did you get Simmy from then?
I got Simmy from North Carolina Animal Control.
Really?
Yeah, I lived in North Carolina for about 3.5 months, and I was there for a couple of weeks. And my goal was to get an apartment there, or a mobile home, or something, find a place to live. And then I wanted to get an English bulldog.
Yeah.
I love English bulldogs. And while I was staying with it was a friend of mine, her son had gotten in trouble and had to do community service, and so he was doing community service at the animal control, and their animal control was also their animal shelter. And he came home one day and said, "Hey, we got bulldogs. We got English bulldogs in." And I was like, "What? You have English bulldogs at the shelter?" He goes, "Yeah, they're not out on the windows yet or anything, but we got them in." I was like, "Ooh, let me know when they go in the windows," because I knew I would get one cheaper there than anywhere else,
Yeah.
He let us know, and we went down there, and they were not English bulldogs. They were boxer pit mixes, and there were 11 puppies.
Oh.
and all of them had that common fawn color, the brown boxer color,
Yeah.
except for Simi. Simi was the only brindle, and I absolutely love brindle coloring on dogs. So I was like, well, it's not an English bulldog, so I'm just gonna pass on it for now, and I'll just wait until I get my place. Well, Jennifer, the woman I was staying with, she was like, "Oh, let's get her out and play with her." And da da da. I'm like, because Shumi was facing away from the window. She was sleeping and curled up, facing away from the window. I knew as soon as I saw her face, I was going to be done. So they had her pulled her out, and we went in a little room with her, and we were all playing with her and stuff. And Jennifer was like, "You should get her." I'm like, "You have 5 dogs in your house. It's a single wide mobile home." I was like, "You want me to add a puppy to that?" And she goes, "Yeah, we'll be fine." And I was like, "Well," she goes, "Get her now while you can. She's so cute." So I did. Yeah. And it was not easy training that dog in that house because she let her dogs piss and shit all over her house.
Oh,
So trying
bless.
to train a puppy to go outside when that odor is inside
Yeah.
was not easy. Although Simi did train really quickly. But, I couldn't leave her. I left her there once for 6 hours to come back down to South Carolina to pick up my son,
Mm.
because he was coming up to North Carolina to live with me. And I came back, and Simi had a big blood blister, big blood bubble on her muzzle. And I was like, "What happened to my dog?" Also, she was tied out on the chain that scared the crap out of her that I told them not to hook her up to.
Yeah.
So I wasn't happy that my instructions weren't being followed with my dog. That's like having someone watch your kid and having them not listen to you about, instructions on what to do with your kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And she goes, "I don't know. That was like that when you left." And I'm like, "It's fresh. The blood is still wet. What happened to my dog?" And she goes, "I don't know." Well, what happened was she let the puppy run around, and she went under this chair that they had that had the wire
Mm.
underneath, like it was a wire suspension thing, and then the cushion was on top of that. Well, one of the wires was broken and it stuck out. So Cindy could have lost an eye because this bitch didn't listen to me about my dog.
Oh, bless her.
So then she was supposed to get fixed, supposed to have her surgery, and we went to the vet, and the vet took one look at her and said, "This dog is too young to have the surgery." And I was like, "But her chart says she's 8 weeks old." And she goes, "No, this dog is 6 weeks old." And I was like, "I thought she was a little small." She goes, "Yeah." She's like, "We can reschedule and bring her back in a couple of weeks." I'm like, "Okay." So I brought her back, and I had to leave her overnight. And I came back, and I don't know who the fuck. They must have had somebody blind shaving her belly because she was all tore up from the razor. I
Oh,
mean, literally had scabs on her from the razor, and she wouldn't let anybody touch her tail because you know how they do the fecal tests and stuff.
yeah.
Well, apparently they violated her pretty hard because she didn't want anybody touching her butt.
Oh,
I
bless
mean,
her.
if even now at almost 11 years old, if I touch her tail, she spins around and looks at me like, "Hey," you know what I
That's
mean? So
yeah.
so every time I left her with anybody, she got hurt. The only one that I could rely on at the time was John and my son to take care of her properly. And now I can't, John's gone and I can't rely on my son for anything. So, you know,
Mm.
people were talking to me about going to a meetup. And I'm like, one, you guys would have to come and haul my crippled ass out and go with you. And I got no place for my dog and my cat to go, and I don't trust anybody to watch them. Who's going to come here twice a day to put the dog out, make sure that the cats get their food? And you can't leave the food in the room with the dog because the dog will eat it. I mean, there's just nobody to take care of my animals.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Bless.
but yeah, Simi is the most expensive I've ever paid for a dog. She cost me $107.
That's not bad.
Usually at animal shelters and stuff, you're paying like $50, unless
Yeah.
it's a purebred dog, and then you can pay like 100 or 150. But it also included, the spaying and her rabies shots
Yeah.
and all her shots and everything. So I was like, well, this dog better be worth it. And I'll tell you right now, she would have been worth 10 times that much.
Oh,
But
bless
she
her.
is Sometimes she's too smart.
Does she
Um,
still ask for water?
yeah, she still asks for water. She'll sit there and look at me. Now she asks for Onyx. Marty has this habit of when she, not every time, but sometimes when she eats, she uses her paw and she'll pull food out of the bowl
Yeah.
and then she'll eat it off the floor. She doesn't always do it, but sometimes she does. And she leaves little crumbs of food on the floor.
Oh, bless her.
So when I pick up the cat food bowl and put it in the big Ziploc I have, if I'm gonna lay down or whatever, or if I have to leave the dog in the room, Simi will come over and she'll lay next to me and she'll kind of creep up on the side of my leg and she'll stare at the floor and then she'll look at me and then she'll look at the floor and then she'll look at me and I'll look at her and she'll wag her tail like she's saying please because she
Oh.
wants to clean up all the little bits of cat food.
Oh.
Yeah, she'll ask for permission for that too. Right. But
That's
the other day apparently I did not get to my door fast enough for the dog. So she used her going outside trick and went under the wheelchair while I was moving it. I'm like, to get to the door before I did. I'm like, she could have gone around. There's room, but she was like zip underneath. I'm like, don't do that again.
Oh, bless her. She's so cute.
She is. She's an awesome dog. She really is. She when I was making food, she kept getting in my way. Every time I turned the wheelchair around, there she was. And I was like, you need to get out of my kitchen. And she looked at me, kind of wagged her tail. I'm like, no, I mean it. Get out. And she went. She laid down. She went and laid down just outside the kitchen.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah, she's a good girl. She's been regulating the cats pretty hard too. Like there's another box that Onyx is trying to destroy, and so I'll yell out, "Quit it!" And all of a sudden the dog is off the bed and over there going, and pushing the cat away from the box. It's funny. Yeah, she knows I don't want her doing that, so the dog will go over and make sure the cat stops doing it. It's funny. She's so smart.
She's so cute.
So, but I've been going to this for 3 hours, so I think I'm going to end it. I am going to do my sale tomorrow between 1 and 2 my time. We'll hopefully earn enough for my electric bill. Otherwise, I'll have to do another sale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about $130 short.
Really?
Technically, I'd be less than $100 short, but I can't do payments with my cards. I have to pay it all at once, and the money I have is divided up on 2 different cards, and it won't let me do a partial payment on the website. So I have to do a sale and get the 167 all on my PayPal card.
Wow.
Yeah. Damn electric company! You want your money? Let me pay you. I tried twice.
Shit, man.
So hopefully we'll get that taken care of because there's no other way to pay it. I mean, the bill's not in my name, so I can't have my mom go pay it unless Issa gives her all the information about it.
Yeah.
And my mom, I don't want to ask my mom for help with that. I mean, she already buys my food, So I have stuff that I can sell, so I'm going to sell some stuff. And hopefully people buy it. But I hope you have a good day. And,
I will.
Tell Toad and my favorite little Brit that I said hello.
I will do. And I love you, and I will talk to you soon.
I love you too. And thank you for everybody that came and hung out with me today. And thank
Bye,
you, Wendy,
everyone.
for coming up on panel.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone. Love you all.
I hope everybody has a great weekend. Bye, everybody.